It's already 1:39. Where the fuck did the day go? I slept through it. That's where it happened, Carl. You slept through it. Like a whore. Like a lazy whore. Pulling on your skirt, whore. This is not the link. This is the link. All right. Oh my God. This motherfucker's going crazy over a goddamn cartoon. That's so wild. Alright. Get this done. This done. This done. This done. And post tweet. post and retweet, and we should be good to go. You'll learn what's on the menu when I tell you what's on the service. Hello, Marana. How am I doing today? I'm doing fine. All right. Good evening and afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sunday, March 8th, 2026. Last season, or which is to say last week, there was no Yap-In because I got bogged down by IRL business. There will probably be an additional Yap-In in the middle of the week to make up for it, depending on whether or not... Where's my other shoe? Under my chair, that's where it is. Whether or not any additional material and update comes through. It is Yap-In with Carl, number 41. And as it is currently still standing drama because they continue to hate watch about us. Because I had originally intended to do this the last week, but it ended up passing me by because of actual IRL business that's more important than haters, we will be going through the hater threads on camera today. However, it continues to be the standing case. $200. $200 in my pocket right now. Deliverable by PayPal to any Birdman defender. Any single one of them that is willing to come into my Discord. Come in on the live show and actually discuss and convince me of how Anthony Edward West is justified in antagonizing people. This has been sweetened by a member of our audience by the name of Exo Crusher. He has doubled the pot. If it continues to be the case that no one steps forward after another week, I'm going to double the pot again to $400. And $100 to any individual that is so upset and angry that they continue to try and stalk my live stream, to try and ruin games, especially when they lose against me or on my team, to justify why anti-social people should be allowed to be antagonistic in a social video game and act as though it is their right to do so. $200 to the Birdman defenders, $100 to the anti-social weirdos that like to play social video games, to defend it live on camera with your mic and your webcam open. Convince me of the argument. Make an effort. Otherwise, moving on. We have plenty to talk about today. No, struggler. We have plenty of things to talk about today. We have plenty of things that have happened this week. And it is the case that because of what happened yesterday, it would have been the case for me to have actually made a video about it. But unfortunately, that was not a choice given to me. Because somebody needed me to go shopping. Damn. As much as I wish as I could allow you to pretend to be an op for the money, my heart wouldn't be in it. Because I'd know that you're doing it to get cash. I would rather just give you the money, bro. I could slide you like $50. This paycheck and next paycheck. I'd be more willing to do that for you than that bad. You don't need to try and debate me live on camera because you need the money that bad, bro. Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't make me feel like that. But anyways. Don't mind all these jars I'm opening. It is my medicine. We have plenty of things to talk about that have happened this week. Many of them have actually metastasized and gotten worse over the week. But it is to the standard that we can start with old business. So, as I mentioned, we have hate watchers now. We've always had hate watchers, but we have hate watchers now. Hello, Boster. We have hate watchers now. In my coverage of Kinoflex, and because of the fact that we live in the timeline where Kinoflex came to me, rather than me doing all of the work myself alone, and coming to the conclusion that myself alone it is the case that we have hate watchers that are stalking the channel. They have been stalking since the first video on Birdman, as he was trying to antagonize and harass him. In the context of the work from last week. All 4 pieces of content, which included the first video, the second video, the Yap-In, which was the 3rd piece of content, and then the video that day that would then be, yes, this is the furosemide, so this pill goes here now. And the 4th video that was the summarization of what we did on that Yap-In. They have been hate watching the channel since then. They have been hate watching me. They have been hate watching Jay. They have been hate watching KinoFlex. Those of you who know, KinoFlex, friend of the channel. And Jan came through on episode number 40 to make the case live to prove that, number 1, Anthony Edward West, which is to say, the Birdman 15, was in fact content trolling and trying to harass a smaller content creator in the same breath that he is harassing bigger content creators from the creator space known as the Fandom Menace, which is the collective circles of content creators around Friday Night Tights, Geeks and Gamers, both as an individual, a channel, a group, and a friend circle, Nerderotic, both as an industry, a business, a channel, a creator space, and a friend circle. The creators, Gary Beekler of Nerderotic, Jeremy Prime of Geeks and Gamers, Mahler, both as an individual, the 1/5, I think it's 5 of them now, 1/5 of the Everything a Pause podcast, and the entire circle around Every Frame a Pause as both a group, an industry, a business, a friend circle, and an interconnected and intermingling group of content creators as a collective whole. He has been doing this to them, including things like the Roach King, which is to say Asmongold, which is to say Zachary, because he believes that it is his job to now commit to a full fatwa against what he labels as lazy, underhanded, scheming, lying, media grifters, and content creators that are not up to the standard of the content and material for the broadcast. Since my post, and I will show you this all to you live, because there is no capping about it, and it's something that they've already clipped, because they're that desperate for the attention. So, hello haters, we're gonna go through exactly what you've done for me. Why would I not? It is the case that the haters have given my channel a bit of a bump. This is true, it is a fact. It is a fact of the matter that I have smugly put in their face. It is something that I've actually written about. Some of you may have noticed, if you read the community posts that are on my channel, you'll know that I did a breakdown about how I feel about how people act about debate. It's something that I posted about before on X, but I posted about it again in the context here. But just briefly, to go over the analytics on my dashboard, because why not? Might as well get the shit out anyways, because, you know, out here, there ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. I'm a whole ass, not a half ass. So unlike Anthony, I'm going to show Tony what it is to actually do the job well and right, especially in terms of my spear. So, here we go. On my channel dashboard, you can be able to see and understand that we have received a significant bump. 53 plus in the last 28 days, lots of views, lots of watch time, and average revenue is not really that important, but it is what it is what it is. But what does that actually look like overall on a graph? What it looks like is it looks like this. Here is the Birdman beginning, right? Here's where I post on February 19th, normal average content for my channel at my size, because I'm a smaller figure. This is the point where I make the Birdman video, or the actually technically, yes, the first Birdman video. Here is the moment where I then follow up on the Birdman content. This entire hill is all of the haters getting upset and mad, and then continuing to post about the content until they get angry and described and distracted at another thing. This would be the point where they went from being angry at me to being angry at KenoFlex, because KenoFlex then made his response on his channel, because he finished the first of his reactions to Birdman 11 days ago, exposing the Griff, the Birdman, the Bird Brain, rather, part 1. This is the reason why there was a drop-off in the numbers. There are some of them that are trying to lie themselves, but I know that they're hate watching the channel because I actually know what my normal views are supposed to look like. Anyways, here is the bump, here is the intrigue, here is the numbers. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because of the Birdman being angry at me and his audience being angry at me, you have literally given me more traffic to grow my numbers. Oh, you only care about views. This is all that it's about. No, actually, because as I demonstrated in the point of my content, it is about the inconsistency of the ability to claim that you know more than other people and the constant need to be sick and tired of other people, but choosing to address yourself into drama and saying that you're above something that you're clearly not. So, I asked my audience to put the time in and actually show in the material you all obsessing over my channel. So now we're going to go through your threads. I told them, do not haze the box, do not harass your people, do not do the things that you're doing, do not get angry and post them, blah, 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 blah. But here's the fact of the matter. Multitudes of you chose to make comments about me, about other people, and about the ideals of other shit you're going on about, and it is in fact the case that it is hilarious. So, let's start with the first one. And where's my good filter? And article reading, Twitch capping, there we go. So, the first one. Covering for KenoFlex and a good look. They clipped an early version of the actual numbers on the content. This is from literally like the first hour. Literally there in the screen cap, the first hour of the recap video. Context, for those that have not seen what those numbers now look like on the video, I will show you what they look like on the first video. The first one would be the Birdman goes batshit, threatens channel with defamation lawsuit. For my channel's metrics, that analytic on the video is currently sitting at 1.6k views, with a watch time retention of 99.4. It is a healthy retention that gained exactly 9 subscribers on that material. Dragging this over from the other window. And the numbers on that looks like this. It looks like this. It is a literal healthy graph, right? So you screen capped a early version of the video, and here is the comment section. The comment section looks exactly like how it does the last time it was posted. And on the channel content, if you watch it concurrently to its existence, notice something that I'm about to demonstrate. Dear Bird Brain viewers, do you see how my comment section is typable and you can post a comment? Do you see how you can post a comment on my video? Do you see how you have the ability to leave your opinion? Do you see how you have the ability to leave your opinion? And I even told people, hey, you can say what you want, but behave as I did to the particular user getting angry and showing up everywhere in the material of the context from people like Deuteronomus. Do you remember? Do you remember Deuteronomus? Do you remember how you got angry? It's a little bit bad because it's kind of cut off on the side here. Let me open it up this way. Do you remember, Deuteronomus, when you got angry saying I wasn't doing it right and I wasn't explaining myself? Where did you go, Deuteronomus? Where did you go? You don't show up on any of the other comment sections on the content. What happened, buddy? Buddy, what happened? What happened? Do you see how you have the ability to say what you want, and I allow you and even give you the opportunity and provide an avenue, even a reward feature for you to express your opinion so that you can be able to say to me, say to my mods what it is you have to say? Now, notice that, remember it, hold that frame, hold space, buddy. Do you see that when I go over to this content from your content creator, the chat room remains locked down to only subscribers and members? Do you see how you want to talk shit about people in nice, safe spaces you control? Do you notice how in here I already know you have blocked, banned, and antagonized multiple users because there's only 2 moderators, the Birdman himself and Pericles the Eighth. Do you notice how, well actually no, there's a little bit more than that actually. No, actually there is not, there's only 2. So, do you notice how in your attempt to talk shit about other people, you're being allowed to say whatever you want, and the Birdman is literally restricting who's allowed to respond on platforms he has and owns? That's what it looks like to be a media grifter. That's what it looks like to be inconsiderate. That's what it looks like when you can't actually stand the storm of comments and criticism. That's media grifting, sir. Why is it media grifting? Because you're yapping and you literally cut off the hand that could smack back at you. Doesn't matter if they're big, doesn't matter if they're small. All of you are hypocrites. Every single last one of you. And the things that you've said inside these threads are going to demonstrate why. I haven't restricted, removed, blocked any comments. If somebody would like to come forward and show it to be the case that I somehow have, log into my Discord. It is an open public Discord. Log into my Discord, get a handle on either myself or one of my moderators, and you come in here, and for $200, it's $200. It's twice $100. And back then it was $100. $100. You can come in here and show me where I supposedly blocked and reported and removed comments. Because I haven't. Not in any of the content. You weren't there on the first video. You showed up to be bitch mad on the second video, just like you did on the first. You didn't show up on the broadcast. None of you called in live. And you certainly didn't show up on the fourth video. Even as you claimed opinions you claimed. But, let's read, shall we? Let's read. Gotta make it bigger. I don't know how you can look into Kinoflex taking a Birdman clip out of context to say that he said Charlie Kirk deserved to die when he said the opposite and get mad at Birdman for suing for blatant libel. This wasn't a mistake on Kino's part. It was something that had clear, malicious intent behind it. Other parts of this guy video is where it was really bad too. Other parts of this guy's video were really bad too. He effectively tries to say that if Birdman thinks the content of the Critical Drinker, Eric July, Every Frame of Pause, etc. is bad, he should ignore them completely and is missing the point that ETG exists to call these people out for lying to their audience, to push their political agendas, and ignoring them just allows them to perpetuate the lies. No, that's not what I said at all. I said, and I quote, actually, I don't even have to say it myself. Hey, Carl, can you do it for me? Mr. Carl in the past, can you do it for me? This is hilarious, quite frankly. It is fucking hilarious. It is hilarious to the highest fucking degree. If their content is bad, watch them niggas. I don't know, chat. I think Carl must be lying to me in the past. Past Carl must have transmogrified space and time to tell them something different than what I actually said in my broadcast. Let me play it again for you. Degree. If their content is bad, watch them niggas. There is no other conversation about this, okay? I'll be as hood Charlie as I can about this. If their content is dog shit, watch them niggas. But it's not about that. It's about you pandering. Wait, one more time. One more again. One more again. One more again. We're going to do it one more again. We're going to do it one more time. I'm going to fix the gain on my microphone even. We're at the time point of 9:53. Bill Jordan. For how dare he make content. This is hilarious. Quite frankly. It is. We're now at the timestamp of 10 minutes. It is fucking hilarious. It is hilarious to the highest fucking degree. If their content is bad, watch them niggas. I said it one time. There is no other conversation about this, okay? I'll be as hood Charlie as I can about this. If their content is dog shit, watch them niggas. And then I said it again at 10:18. So, please, where did I say, we'll just ignore them? We'll just ignore... No, I did not say that. I said, take their audience. If they are grifters, if they are lying, if it is the case that I see something that isn't there, or I'm seeing something that is there and getting it wrong, take their audience, prove them wrong. Wash them niggas. Take their content from them. Take their audience from them. I don't know if you don't know who Moist Critical is. Charlie is a large content creator with a very large channel. It is the fact case of the matter that when it comes to Charlie, he is somebody there's no way you couldn't know about. The channel Penguins Zero has 17.8 million subscribers. When I said Hood Charlie, I'm talking about the talking videos that he does frequently, week after week, about whatever drama. Example, this video from 14 hours ago that is already at 773k views.
I remember when I was a child.
Notice how he's just in his fucking creator space, surrounded by all his stuff, and he's doing the exact same thing that I'm doing, but he's giving the popular updates about content. It's basically the formulation of what my channel is. I'm halfway between being a Black Aspen Gold, because I cover content while I'm also playing video games, and being a Black Charlie, because I'm also covering drama that happens in the week in material circumstances that I find interesting for me, because I get into the whole issue, not the part where people choose to go as more, not as Moist Critical, excuse me, as, what is his fucking name? What is his fucking name? I'm blanking on his name right now. As much as it's the British one. The name is escaping me because he's a dog shit content creator and he was being stupid and retarded literally about Turkey Tom the other week, talking about the big sweep. Chud Logic, thank you, Brain. It is in the case that, unlike Chud Logic, who only cares about the drama that is relevant to him to be able to yuck yums and take money from people, which is very much the actual circumstance of how I view the majority of the Birdman's content. Because Tony the Tiger ain't actually having it out with these people. It is definitely the considerable case that when you come here, and when you come in my house, and you walk in my house, and you talk shit about me and what I do, and you don't even get what I said correct, because you're trying to skim through my content, because you don't actually listen, you don't actually know what's being said, and you're trying to take things out on people, because you're upset and you're fucking angry, you end up getting shit wrong, okay? Unlike people like that of Chud Logic, I actually do my job. You do not do your job. You sit there from your high and mighty position looking down on everybody else beneath you, and it is ridiculous and stupid. None of you are correct on what you said, but that's okay. You don't really give a shit. You've already moved on to try and say we don't deserve attention, and you're going to ignore us, despite the fact you're still hate-watching at this current moment. Moving forward. So, we understand this is a lie. This entire section is a lie. I also found it funny that he said Birdman moved away from his original content to exposing the grift to pander to his audience while showing his last 10 videos, some of which were everything wrong with. So you've missed the entire point of that criticism as well. Do you understand that when you decide that you're going to go from posting frequent material about people, that it's this thing that built your channel up to the point at which you're at? You did not make that channel content to demonstrate how you're exposing the grift, to do the argumentation that people otherwise would claim that you're not doing. Actually, no, that is not the case. Do you know how it's not the case? Because if you have a fucking brain, you can do this calculation your fucking self. Do you understand that when we look back historically over his content, when we look at his most popular material, what is the most popular material? It is the Everything Wrong with series. His entire channel was built up on this. This is where he, as well as everybody else that is a part of the Fandom Menace, where everybody else that is a criticizer, made their channels grow over time. All the way back when he was just a wee little channel talking about his content and talking about material. And in between, doing the Did It Suck content and the We Made It content for the 100K parts and everything else that he fucking did, all the gameplay shit, this was the thing that made his fucking views. Do you notice how when I go down over most popular views, we start seeing different kinds of content that elapses over the last 8 years, 9 years, 10 years? This is the argument that you're not understanding. He made his bones off of Everything Wrong With. This is what his channel is made from. All the other shit is filler! Filler! If it is the case that people came to him for Everything Wrong With, and then you look at it in the actual historical sense, things from oldest to latest, let's go oldest first because it'll pull it to the top of the street. It was the case that he started playing games like Injustice, playing things like Ultimate Street Fighter 4, which is where he gets his Blanca identity. All of this is basically the equivalent as if you go to my channel and you do the same thing. Because you know what my channel started out as? It started out as a Let's Play channel. Because I was young and a child and liked video games. Started out in school playing things like Mega Man 2 on physical hardware. Then I started updating it with my life posts and all my ideas and my opinions. Look at him! Look at little baby Carl! Look at him! Look at little baby Carl! Look at him! It is the case that I started moving in the direction of the thing that was inspirational to me. You know what that was? Having fun, streaming, talking. Back when my handle was them shades though. Which is still the handle that I use on my Reddit account. This was when Carl was rescued from the dark timeline and became the single-player Carl, which is to say, the single dad Carl, which is to say, the married dad Carl, that he is right now. I started getting into the content. I went in the direction of the thing that was actually building my material, but I never actually stayed in one way, because when the timeline converged and I lost my best friend, I started going in the direction of cleaning myself up and focusing on the things that mattered, which was the culture in my content. When you start looking at that, compared to where I was before, to where I am now, you notice that I'm still talking about gaming shit, and I never actually switched up what I do. I talk to people, I interview them, I talk to them on my broadcasts, I cover the topics week to week, I try to summarize it for content of videos of shit that's happening, and then on the live stream, I'm always covering shit, because you know what made my channel? It was my streams. My streams made my channel. My streaming did my channel, showing off video games, showing off topics, showing off ideas, taking challenges from my audience, doing content on camera, and doing evergreen content on camera. Here's where I built my bones. Yet it might be the case that if I was to make more videos than live streams, my channel would start growing exponentially fast. But I don't want what you build because you are obviously incapable of understanding what is actually the source of the things that brought you together. You were brought together literally because the entire channel of Anthony Edward West was made to show how Jeremy Scott of Cinema Sins was slacking on his job. That's what built the house that you live in. It was the case, ironically enough, that just like me, Anthony Edward West, just like fucking Irrelevant, just like fucking Shark 03, we all were black, hoop and ball, and ARG, and ARPG, and grand strategy, and autism simulator gamers. For his case, he was much more the modernist, playing on modern hardware, because he wants to be a voice actor, just like Alana Pierce. That's the pathway that Anthony Edward West wants to take with his job. He wants to create a channel that becomes the backbone of his opinions, the same way you could say it is the case for the Act-Man, who is also another left-wing scum, who does the exact same shit he does. But where the Act-Man doesn't have an opinion until the audience tells him what the opinion is, so he can be safe. It's the case that Anthony is actually a trailblazer. He started with his opinions that he had about modern content compared to older unk-slop content. And while doing all that shit with other people, he then started making his content sphere, which led into him talking about sports, talking about stand-up episodes and pieces of content about movies, thus leading into Did It Suck? And then eventually into Everything Wrong With. And attacking a channel that had a large backbone, it was from here that he made the bones of the channel that is now the foundational structure upon which you stand, upon where you are standing over other people in a high garden, trying to talk shit about things, not understanding what you're talking about. So, not only is this part a lie, this part is a lie too. And, it doesn't help that this guy also goes to the angle of the Birdman calling up blatant racism, making him racist. No, it is the fact that the Birdman keeps attacking white people! White people, Anglo-Saxon people, Europeans, Welshes, Danishes, and keeps labeling them all as bigots, Nazis, and racists. Did you forget? Did you forget that's what he said? Quick, let me remind you, using the Birdman's own content, again! Because you seem to have forgotten when he said it the first time. From the material, live on camera, from the work that I quoted. It's probably actually in the same thing here. Should be. Yes. So, don't take my word for it. Listen to it from the content. Yes, he does. The poster does repeat a lot of cliche talking points made against people going against the Birdman. It is very much the case that he is. But, again, don't take my word for it, as I've said multiple times, because my channel is to give you a beginning look into material. You don't have to take my word for it. You can call me a liar, you can call me a grifter, but what you can't call me is somebody who didn't do the goddamn work. This is the reason why I sourced the content that I did, the way that I made it, when I was making the updates, because I allowed the content to explain itself. You don't have to believe my words. Here's the Birdman actively saying what I said, and demonstrating the reasons why I said what I said.
I did like this super chat as well. Waste time.
Believe the drinker responding to and behind the curtain respond. So it's debate. Argue with these morons in public? They don't want to smoke with me. Not that type of smoke. Not real life smoke. I don't think grifters in general want to argue their positions. I think they're pussies. And I mean like in a debate. Now, I don't like debating because I think of it as pageantry. It's a popularity contest. It's, oh, you know, this guy has more followers than you, therefore they won the argument. This is how people actually think. I'm not joking.
Despite the fact that this is exactly how your argument and how your audience thinks, Birdman, because that's what exactly they're doing on these threads.
People come to my channel all the time. Oh, they have more followers than you. That must mean they're right. They literally say that. So what's the point? What would be the point of a debate? You know, that's my perspective. But their perspective, they don't want to debate because they know that their ideas can't stand up to scrutiny in real time.
Their ideas can't stand up to scrutiny in real time. That's why I'm beating that ass. Beating that ass. Belt to ass. On you, on everyone else, on anyone else that does shit that is not in the sphere of what we're supposed to do here. It is the fact that I am, as the kids say, ulting. I have been in my Dragoon Install Ultimate for literally 4 months now. Because this is you being a hypocrite. You don't want the smoke. You and your audience don't want the smoke. That's why you sit there, doing this shit, from a place where only you allow what arguments you want to hear to be seen. And anyone else gets blocked, muted, hidden from the channel, etc. And not addressed properly. It is basically the case that you and your audience were trying to put me through what would be considered the equivalent on Green Reddit, which is to say TV forums, as a proving ground. A place where we decide, is this person big enough for us to attack? But no, we're not at the point that I'm talking about.
They know that. So they would never do it. They have no reason to do it. Because if they got exposed in real time, well, there goes the grift. It's gone. It's over.
I am offering money of my own volition to bring your people out, to make the argument, to tell me where I'm wrong, and to make the case. We will have a moderator. There will be a person who has the ability to control both our microphones. That is not me. It will be somebody who will act as an impartial mediator, allowing the other person to have the ability to have the case time to speak. It is not the case where I will say, oh, I'm bringing you in and luring you with money, but actually I won't give the money. No, the money is right here in my fucking bank account. I have it on hand right now. Here's me logging into my bank app. I'm going to show it on screen right now because I don't make a lot of money, but I do have a lot of shit. Or at least enough. I make a decent amount because I have a day job, which is literally being at home taking care of the parent that I'm with. But no. The number is bad, but right there. It is the case the screen is going too bright. One second. I'm going to lower the brightness, and that help. It probably should help. That number right there is 5 something from my checking account. $518.54. It's not very good. I can take a screen cap and post it inside of my Discord and then bring that up. 1 second. Boop. Load, motherfucker. Load, motherfucker. Load, motherfucker. Load. I don't know why my fucking webcam just goes all fucking glitchy when I try to put shit on the screen like this, but it's okay. Go from my archiving server. Post this to moderator only. Grab this here. Post this here. Here. There we go. Oh, let me open it as a picture. There we go. Right there. Money. Right there. In my bank account. Waiting to be spent. It is the case that I am trying to give you money. Because it should be so easy. The argument should be so easy, right? The argument should be so easy. The approach should be so simple. We're so stupid. We're so retarded. We're so out of our depth. We don't know what we're talking about. Take my money from me. It should be a free, easy lick. Because it's not just about the money. It's supposed to be about my pride, and it's also supposed to be about my relevance and the stake of my honor. Therefore, defeat me. Take my money. Take it. Take it from me. And of course, the moment in which I am quoting, which is the reason why we're here.
They can ignore me. They can ignore my videos. Well, they kind of can't, because like it's been reaching them, and somebody super chatted the critical drinker and asked him, "What do you think about the Birdman?" Whatever. It's like he's a hater. He called me a hater. I'm a hater for saying that you lied about this thing. That's hate. That doesn't even make any sense. But whatever. That's what they do.
Same argument being used against me, but it doesn't matter. Big number, small number, big fish, little fish. This content creator, that content creator. This criticizer, that criticizer. This critic, that critic.
Brush me off, and they don't have to engage with me.
Exactly what your audience is doing right now.
Which is fine. I'm not looking to be acknowledged by these niggas. Like, I don't give a fuck what they think. They're wrong. They're bigoted pieces of shit. Fuck them.
548. Let's repeat that again.
Which is fine. I'm not looking to be acknowledged by these niggas. Like, I don't give a fuck what they think. They're wrong. They're bigoted pieces of shit. Fuck them.
So, when I say what I said, as you have now misquoted me wrongly again, dear Redditors, it is the case that you are dishonest. You are lying. You are lying about what I said. You are misinforming other people about what I said. You are doing so intentionally because you do not actually have the ability to argue against what I have said. You are not actually telling the truth of the context of my content. Notice how it is a screen cap and that there is no link to my video because it is all about trying to... Basically, what we have here is the exact same thing that happened with H3H3. You are trying to siphon views by directing people to harassment campaigns on the content so that you can get a viewpoint of what must be said and what must be true because other people in the hive brain also told you we don't like this guy because he's criticizing our guy. So let's get into the comment section. I can smell that basement just from here, from the thumbnail. Shit's diabolical, bro. I don't know if y'all niggas know this, because we're gonna go through it, right? This is a bedroom. This bedroom was originally an awards closet for the Italian family we bought this from. You see the floor over here? Up. I broke the camera. I immediately put it towards my crotch and the world said, no, Carl, don't do that. But no, you see this floor here? You see how this is parquet? You see how that's stripped over there? Our house had water damage, you fucking retards! And also, this window right here, this beautiful, wonderful, luscious window that is covered with Rafiki, Timon, Pumbaa, and Nala, as well as young Simba. This is the outside window to the outside. This isn't a basement. This is literally the front side of my building. You see, if I do this, I can kind of recreate that screen cap. Somebody take a screen cap real quick, because I can't do it while I'm holding it. What is that face? I gotta go to Staleman. One second. I need to go to Staleman's channel. We're gonna recreate that one thumbnail that he made of the bird brain. One second. Dear Stale Man Bird Man. God damn it, pulls up Birdman. 1 second. Ah. Where even is that video? Trying to find it. Did he change the thumbnail of the Staleman video? No. It's in the Birdman Chats video. That's right.
Point out how much
He doesn't actually list his channel name. He just insults him, and it's called Sandman Cinema. I'm retarded. Sandman Cinema. That's right. Because why would you actually link the channel of the person whose criticisms you're claiming is wrong, and so everybody can see the actual argument that he's making instead of you telling them about it? Because lol, this person has a smaller channel, therefore he doesn't actually have the ability to speak on this. Yes. Like father, like content father, like content children. Sandman Cinema. Yes, the Sandman Cinema has actually changed his content thing. So where's that video I'm thinking of? There we go. The Birdman caught lying red hand about Charlie Kirk. One second. Because I broke the camera. Okay. So the way that it looks here on the content is that it looks like that. He's like, I'm not biting his lip. I don't know how to describe this. If anybody has ever seen Lucifer and you remember D.B. Woodside as a Metadeel when he does those goofy ass fucking faces, it's kind of like that. It's like, so somebody's got to take a screenshot of that. So let me do it real quick. I even try to do it myself. I'm gonna hold this with my right hand, and I put my thing on my screen cap button. Let me just, there you go. And let me just zoom that up here. And do this. And then I push this here inside of memory. And we'll take this here. And then we'll open this here. And let's compare. So here's my face. I think we got it. I think we got it. So, as I was saying, before I distracted myself with something funnier than you, because making fun of you all and demonstrating the reason that you people are inconsiderate jackass bastards that should never speak about anybody ever. This bedroom was converted from an awards closet. We had water damage in 2023, as well as throughout like the majority of COVID. We had damage that caused water damage to the floor, that caused damage to the carpet, that caused damage throughout the area of what is basically this side of the building. From the front door to this side here, all the way to where you see the wood in the hallway, and it had to be ripped up and stripped. And it is the case that, yeah, this is messy, but guess what? It's real. This is my bedroom. It also is my studio. It's also my workspace. I don't know why you're trying to do this thing of, we're going to insult this person because, look, it's a basement dweller. It is the case matter, this basement dweller, because we did this before. I'm going to keep doing this again, each and every single time when it matters. Actually, no, use this one. This one is the most recent one. It is the case matter that this supposed basement dweller is not bitchless and not zestless. As you can clearly see here, I have family. That's my woman. That's the biological child she has. I have been with her, raising this child since he was an infant. When you try to talk about supposed basement dwellers, you're demonstrating your bias and your hatred for the people who literally are the thing that makes up your genre, bro. Nerdlingers, Poindexters, nerds, geeks, gleeks, they are the people that make up your fan base. And you have now otherized people because in your zest to attack people like myself, you have demonstrated you don't actually care about what people are, who they are as a person. You care more about trying to distract yourself from remembering the human behind the screen. You remember the concept of remembering the human, right? That thing that used to be a thing on Reddit before they deleted it because politics became more important than having a point? You forgot the human behind the screen, and you decided to otherize me and say I have nothing of value to say. And you demonstrated that my fucking weapon will wash you niggas desperately. You know why? Because it is the case that you are trying to ignore my opinion. You are trying to ignore my opinion and the case and the evidence and the facts behind it with the argumentation made by your content creator himself, describing his own content, that you are not capable of facing me in an arena of ideas. You're cowards. You are equal to me as a moralistic amoeba. You don't have spines. Anthony might have a spine, but he don't want to stoop down to my level from his amazingly high ivory towel garden of his intellectual cathedral. He sends you, his inquisitors. Feel free to walk in my church. You ain't finna walk out. You ain't finna walk out, or you finna walk out funny. One of the two. Anyways, so now that we've gotten the you don't know anything about me, and there's an actual logical reason behind why it looks like this, let's get into the other arguments. Before I do that, I need to go see what she needs, because she just called me from another room. What? What? That's wonderful. Anything else? Because somebody has decided to make their job my personal business, and I'm addressing it directly on the platform which I own on the internet. Nothing that is important to us is being discussed. I'm discussing what is relevant to me in my life. Mother, I understand why you're asking. You don't need to. I know that I'm speaking loud because that's what I'm supposed to do as an entertainer. Also, I'm going to speak loud about something I'm passionate about. Anything else, Mother? No, but I can get you a breakfast bowl. You're going to find out when I bring it to you. I can bring you the box that came in. It's not a waffle, Mother. I understand what you mean, Mother. You're going to have your protein, Mother. speaking so loud that the negress of the house that raised me, a part of my job, the job I do from home, people who pay me, happen to have been interrupted. So I need to warm this jar, and I'll be right back. Birdman's streaming setup isn't the same as many other streamers. Technically it is, but it doesn't matter. We all have different rigs. The fact of the matter is, an accusation was made about the standard of my living space in my home, and I'm basically being poor-shamed, actually. That's what actually is happening in that post. They are poor-shaming me for having been victimized by weather conditions. And my response is this face. Okay. After fulfilling my obligation. Where was I? Ah, yes. You're poor-shaming me for the crime of not having enough money to repair my house, which is half the money that I'm working towards. So not only are you poor-shaming me, you're poor-shaming my mi madre, you're poor-shaming my sister who's going through cancer, but you don't know about my sister's situation. Most of you shouldn't, because that's not information for you to know. Therefore, I don't talk about it. But it's shit that's present that is a part of it. So, things that you don't know for $100, Alec, and poor-shaming lower-tier content creators because you don't like their face for 1,000 on the daily double. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. But let's continue. Every time I look at my face now, it's going to be funny as hell. Oh my god. One second. Actually, one second. I'm diverting for 1 second. Give me a second. Actually, let me get this. I can do this better. I can do better than this. I can get this in a bigger frame. Doesn't know the way to worship.
What these people do sticks out to me.
Does he know the way? Does he know the way? When addicted to the coming, anyone in patrol. I won't never know a night like this. I had my bag already in on a typical shadow line where they'll always know. From the last one who came through, I want a tip you to come and what you're going through. The last one who came through. Tune in live and find it. That's all good at chatting cause he knows it enough. Doesn't know the way to worship high. Boom. Bop. Bada boom. Pow, pow, pow. And just for fun, I'm going to DM this to Jay and see what she says. What's that pop in my filter just now? Alright. Getting back to it. Clean that room, bro. Same accusation as here before. What? A conservative scumbag making excuses for another conservative scumbag and trying to gatekeep anyone from giving consequences or criticism for actions that absolutely warrant consequences and criticism? You cannot harass a content creator for the crime of disagreeing with you. I'm also not conservative. I'm moderate. Like any person that should be capable of addressing content and concerns and opinions, there are issues that I'm progressive on. There are issues that I am conservative on. There are issues that I am liberal on. There are issues that I'm moderate on. And there are issues that you could even possibly call me a shitlib about. But do you know what I don't do on my channel? Inundate you with my political opinion. Do you know why? My political opinion is not important to the content of the news and the games and the gaming drama that I cover. Do you know why? Because I give my opinion based on what is actually happening, not what my political agenda must tell me I should tell you. But of course, people who have never watched my content do not know that. They are not abreast of that content information. They don't understand that material. They don't get that kind of thing. Because that's not what you're fucking focused on. You have already now decided what my viewpoint and opinions must be. It is so fucking boring. It is so fucking boring, dude. It is so fucking boring to listen to people who do not actually understand what it is they're talking about, talk about things that they clearly are out of the depth of. But it's okay. We expect this from all of you. Boop. Funny enough, Birdman just quote tweeted Jay Longbone, who this guy associates with and watches videos with. Makes content with. Yes, both myself and the sister of Gorlock the Destroyer. It is what we do. But this next one here, this next one is really cool. I just ran into that on my feed too. These Doxoflex clones are everywhere. So now I'm not even my own person. I don't have personhood. My arguments don't exist. My content, it doesn't exist. All the things that I've done that are separate from the material of Kinoflex doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I am now what they call a Doxoflex clone. Because as he addressed literally live on the camera, there is some drama that the Kinoflex got involved with a person, and there are people who come to try and antagonize him about that by calling him Doxoflex. Now I'm Black Doxoflex. That's what I am now. I'm a clone of a clone of a clone of somebody that he wants to antagonize and humiliate. But you're not a bigot. You're not a racist. You're not a bastard. You're not a jackass. You're not an inconsiderate imbecile that chooses to antagonize people for things that you say about them and not the material of their character and the criticisms and the content that they make. I'm the one that's out of my depth here. Okay. Moving to the second one. This is the one that if I was to call it rage bait would be the one that would piss me off the most. I just don't get it. How is it that this guy, as a black man, pause, I'm not black, I'm Cajun. This is melanin. What do you mean by black? I know what you mean by black. You mean politically black. I'm not politically black. I do not align with political black issues. You would know that if you knew anything about myself and Jay Longbone. Because Jay also is not politically black. We are African Americans. We are niggas. Ha 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 ha. But no, we niggas. We niggas out here. We are culturally unaligned with you. We do not align with your politics. We do not align with your worldview. And so when you say, how can I, as a black man, you've already gotten off the basis. But remember, we're the assholes, we're the racists, we're the bigots, and it's inverse racism to accuse a bigot and a racist who attacks other people he calls bigots and racist as a racist, who is using anything other than the real opinion that he should want to state on camera, which he only really states when he gets really heated, because you see that's never being referenced in his content, as the basis for why he chooses to antagonize and attack people. Again, if you don't believe that, just simply reference it from your content creator's own opinion. We've already done all of that. We're going to get through the rest of this because, honestly, it's kind of fucking boring. And there's also not enough of it, because I don't think I'll make any more posts. But we'll also we'll go trolling on the thread. We'll go see if there's anything else you've said about me. But this is just the content that we collected as thus, assuming that everybody did their job correctly. How is this guy, as a black man, getting pressed? I'm not pressed. It is the fact that I'm making fun of you for demonstrating your inability to control yourself. Because look, there's you showing up on my content. There's you going to my posts on my channel. I'm pressed, but you're not pressed. Because you captured this 38 minutes after I posted it. For those that don't know the context, this is a post that I posted on my channel from the community posts. I do frequently make community posts as updates. As you can notice, here's one that I did, basically packing in people like the almighty Keith. The mighty Keith, excuse me. The mighty Keith, who is one of these many types of anti-woke content creators that are on the timeline, that like making content posts, and me basically being Neurodamus, which you can see is a point of reference to content that I did on my channel, because that is literally the screen cap that is right here in the Nonstop Concordian Timeline Defenders post. But it is the case that I make posts frequently, and one of the things that I posted about, literally all the way back here, was this post. Notice that they captured it, yet again, minutes after I posted it, and they did not go back and show the actual popularity of the post. So, you can see here, I said, witness the beginning of a new era of hate watch profiting. We did this together. And yes, I am profiting off of your hate watching. You are amoebas, again, compared to me. You are amoebas compared to me. You people are cowards. You people are cowards that are not willing to come forward to actually discuss shit. You are actively incapable of facing the opinion of people you disagree with and discussing it with them. Because you don't actually want to have a discussion. You just want to antagonize me at a distance. You want to stand behind your favorite content creator the same way that you all were convinced to join his side from the content that he made, and you believe that because he talked shit about Jeremy Scott and then started talking shit about the Phantom Menace, that meant that he is actually better than these people and that he's a better human. When in fact, all of you are disgusting human beings compared to the actual average person. Because you're trying to dehumanize them so that you can hate them, so you can keep harassing them. Yes, I'm going to make fun of you. Yes, I'm going to brag about the fact that you're doing it for me, and all I have to do is keep doing the shit I'm doing. Not a single thing I said is out of line with anything else I've said. Everything that I've said, everything that I've shown, everything that I've exposed, everything that I discuss, everything I'm going to continue to discuss is the case that, yes, you won't get it because you don't want to hear it. But let's read the whole post. Let me not pause Andy you. Cough, cough. How is it that this guy, as a black man, gets pressed at the Birdman for calling Eric July a house nigger, because that's what you called him. You called him that. You didn't call him a house negro. You called him the actual word you called him. You tried to call him a trash panda, but no, you wanted to call him what I just said. How dare you stop me from calling Eric July a token for associating with known racists like Heels vs. Babyface, and then not just defend Kiddo Flex, but Asmin Gold. Because Asmin Gold made a point, and you didn't actually disprove his point. You actually demonstrated your inability to address the point. as well as being friends with Jay Longbone, a black woman who made posts like this and uses gay as an insult in 2026. Because we're not like you people! You're annoying assholes! You don't understand what culture is. You're chronically online, ranting about me. And then your reply to this. I just block them and keep them moving. It's not worth the engagement. Stable Dragonov. If I'm not worth the engagement, then why did you engage? like, you understand that, right? Like, let me put it to you a different way, okay? Let me put it to you a different way. I'll describe it to you a different way. If we're not worth the engagement, why did you engage? Why did you engage? Because you see, this is actually a multi-picture thread. You weren't just hate watching my post. You were also hate watching Jay's channel. And you were hate watching her posts as well, as she's talking about how lame Wonder Man was. So this isn't just a hate post about me, it's a hate post about me and Jay. You get angry that we call you what you are to your face. And then you say, why are you pressed? Why are you pressed? Why do you care? We're just murdering people over in this alleyway. Why are you pressed? Why do you care? Why don't you mind your own business until we turn our knives on you? Why are you trying to run from us as we're trying to harass you? Why are you grabbing a gun to defend yourself? Why are you pressed? Why are you pressed? Why are you stalking us down a dark alley, furiously masturbating, saying, yeah, you're gonna get what's yours. You're gonna get what's yours. We're gonna show you what you're worth. We're gonna show you what you're worth. Like, dead ass. If you don't like what the fuck's happening, why are you watching it? Why are you watching? Why are you engaging? Why are you watching? Why are you engaging? Why are you riding my nuts? Why are you getting angry that I'm mocking you to your face while you're riding my nuts? Is it something that you're not able to grasp? Do you not understand that people are human beings? Oh, well, you see, I know the reason why. If you were to actually engage with my content, you might find yourself convinced by it. Remember that line? Yeah, that's the line that your big daddy told you. Your daddy told you, these niggas don't interact with me because if these niggas did, I'd wash them. That's in his words. Again, I played them for you there on camera. They don't engage with me because if they were to actually debate live, they would expose the grift themselves and the grift would be over and they'd lose their audience and they'd lose their relevance. It is the case that they don't interact and engage with people like me because they're scared of me. They can't be able to defend against my arguments, and my content scares them. So instead of actually debating things and actually discussing things honestly, they instead grift. That was his opinion. That was his statement. That is his viewpoint. That is the viewpoint that you agree with. And it is in the case matter of this viewpoint you agree with, you're not actually demonstrating your opinion. You're not demonstrating the follow through of your philosophy. You're running, you're hiding, you're bitch made. You're running, you're hiding, you're bitch made. You're running, you're hiding, you're bitch made. It is actually the case. It is actually the fact of the matter that you're more concerned with antagonizing me, talking about my body. No, you want some of this? It is the case that you want to say anything about me, my personality, my content creation, my humor, my humanity, so that you can have the ability to call me a liar, a grifter, and a clone of somebody so that you can kill me. And I don't mean physically kill me. Some of you might try, I don't know. Considering that you're politically motivated, and it is the case that leftists do in fact try to murder people for having a difference of opinion, I don't know. Let's not try to aggress you in that way. But it is what it is. It is in fact the case that you hate me for having an opinion that is different than yours. And instead of actually defending your opinion, and actually defending the things you have to say, it is in fact the case that you instead do the thing that you're doing right now. You choose to try to control about who has the right to speak and who doesn't. You talk about smelling my basement from here, but you can't even tell that this is the front side of the building. You have built a precognitive affinity and opinion about the people in your head. And instead of actually giving people their flowers, you are trying to antagonize as many people as possible while still getting it wrong. And to me, that is a positive example of bigotry and racism. I would have to accuse you all of being racists, because the only thing you care about is what you perceive as my political and personal identity. It's like talking to irrelevant. It's like talking to a fucking midwit. You sit here and you say, but you are black? Like, look at your skin? No, actually. If you were to ask me what black was, you and I would come to different opinions. The majority of you. All of you. You don't have an actual viewpoint of what you consider to be politically black, because you just assume that being black is the correct thing. It is the politically aware thing. It is the woke thing. The awoken thing. And from there, you speak down on other people. You're speaking down on myself and another woman for the crime of not being politically black enough, while claiming we are supposed to be ignored, but you're not actually ignoring us. I don't know what to say to that, bro. If you don't want to ride the ride, get off my tip. If you don't want to ride the ride, get off my tip. But, moving forward. Last one. Here's where I start winning some of you over. And it's pretty funny, but let's look at it for itself. The post is called, I'm trying to get it framed up, but I believe I need to reconfigure the thing. Here we go. You name this one Doxoflex and the Legion of Losers. You are now comp trolling onto another post, because there's two pictures here. There's the one from KinoFlex, and then there's the one about how you call us the Legion of Losers. Equipping off of a spectacular Spider-Man cover. But Doxoflex and the Legion of Losers. KinoFlex promotes that he's going to go live talking to me on my channel on episode number 40. So you were in fact hate watching the broadcast. Congratulations. These people don't deserve to be given views. And yet you make episode 40 one of the best episodes of my fucking podcast yet. Genius maneuver. They don't deserve our attention. Let's block them. Let's never engage with them. And then let's hate watch and see it outside the building talking about some... You're not even black! Amazing. 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 But let's look at the actual text of the matter. You post this, you don't even have text. It's just, look at these losers. Look at these losers. Linking losers together. And then, down here, as you can see in the comment section, because this says there's 5 comments, but there's only 3 comments here, sorted by the best. You can actually reveal these by actually showing through the shit and what's going on, but it is what it is, right? So, down here, you've got the 3 posts. If I sort this by new, it doesn't even show the other ones. So, someone got rid of posts. I believe that is in fact the case. So, in the child thread, you can see here, I'm going to make it better so that you can see it properly, because I think the filter's probably cutting it off. No, it's not. It's not even the filter. It's just the bottom of the screen. Goddamn Reddit is such a dog shit website. At least they don't block comments on their videos like the Birdman, but I wouldn't expect less from losers who follow the Birdman. Could be worse. They could have been KinoFlex followers. Wait, you mean blocking racist, homophobic, and transphobic and spam is the same as doxing people for losing an argument like KinoCut did? So, the narrative continues. He's supposedly a grifter and a liar. He's supposedly doing doxing, and this justifies erasing comments. It is the case that some comments actually got withheld by YouTube because of how aggressive they were. I'm going to say aggressive, because I'm not going to call them what they were. I'm going to let you infer for yourself. I never blocked any comments, never deleted any comments, never ran from opportunity for a conversation. But this is the whelp. This is the whelp of the majority of those that call themselves the Birdman followers. They hate me for being not politically black enough. They make accusations of who I am as a character. They antagonize who I am as a person, but they never actually address a single thing about me that is actually important. It is the case that they are harassing me at a distance, behind blocks, behind auto block mutes, and behind every layer of protection they can, while getting angry about the fact that I am mocking them for the success that they have brought me by actively not engaging with my argument and actively sitting there mad, looking and waiting for the next update that gives them a reason to pay attention to the channel. Now, does that mean that I'm going to ride this wave out and supposedly and allegedly my channel is going to become anti-woke? No, it's not. I'm going to continue doing the same thing that I've been doing. And in fact, you can in fact see that in the coverage of my content and with the posts from my channel. You can see that I did not change a motherfucking thing. Same address, same name. Same address, same name. Nothing about what I've done on my channel has changed. Nothing about how I cover content has changed. It is in fact the case that I continue to do the same shit that I do. Seeing here on the content, you can see I got back to regular posting schedules on the analytics for videos. In the terms of the content that are the videos, continue making shit, not the same coverage. Completely fine with that, because I don't do this shit for the fucking clicks. This is my hobby that I made into my career. Whether or not I'm able to be successful and big and huge at it and have a great big channel about it, that's not promised to me. Jay's not necessarily that large either. We stand on the shoulder of greats and giants that give us the opportunity to be spoken to and heard. If I'm offered those opportunities, which is really the real reason why you're trying to not give me attention, by claiming and not sourcing my content, that's the actual truth here, I'll just rip the Band-Aid off for you. It is the case that you don't want me to be spoken of, invited to, talked to, have a chance to talk to other people, because you hope that connections and doors will be slammed in my face so that I only remain at this level so you can say, oh, that person's not important, they're just some little irrelevant channel that doesn't matter. Because all the other channels that do matter are bigger, because they're the ones that are more effective at spreading the grift, and that it's his job to expose the grift. But actually, just like with actual real-world politics, my guy, you shouldn't be looking at the big figures. If all you ever do is you go out to the polls and you vote in the general every 4 years, you're not actually doing your job to understand what's actually going on. You don't pay attention to what is basically local politics and what is effectively then local channels. The smaller channels, the grassroots channels that build themselves up for nothing. Because just like the Birdman, I'm grassroots. There is no industry figure standing behind me pumping money into me. Any advice I've gotten from Jay, she's given to me as a friend. Any help that I've ever gotten from Jay with my channel, which she has indeed given me a bump for my channel, that grew it from where it was here to where I am now, was from a friend. There was no Friday night type bump that I was given. None of that. I don't do this shit for their attention. I don't do this shit to be liked. I do this shit because it's true, because it's real, and like I said in my fucking video summarizing the event as the finale of the coverage of it, I do it because it's right. You don't get to harass, you don't get to harangue, you don't get to argue and antagonize people over the internet because you disagree with how they cover your content, and you accuse them of being a liar to the point that you're going to try to sue them into the poorhouse as you threatened to do to Kanoflex because of defamation. And when I go through the content, and I listen to the content with my own opinion and my own fucking ears, I come to the same conclusion they do. And I demonstrate the exact point that actually, yeah, you're not only inconsistent and hypocritical with your standards, as is your audience, but you're also incapable of actually standing the test of time, and standing the test that your own words and your own arguments don't rate the shit out of your own content. If I held you to your own standards, the way you're trying to hold other people to them, it is the case that you actually are a coward. That's not me saying it. That's your content proving it. A little bit too high. Let me raise my neck. There we go. It is the case that you actually don't stand the test of time for your own content. Anthony, Tony. It is the case that you are a hypocrite by your own standards. That's it. That's all there is to it. That's the point of all the content. That's the point of what I said. That's the point of what I addressed. You would never use these arguments, bro. You would never use these arguments in the politics that you cover, that you believe in. You would never use these arguments in the spaces of intellectualism that you perceive and describe yourself and prescribe yourself to being a part of. So why the fuck do you make these arguments about content creators? Period. Why are you making these arguments about me? Why is your audience making these arguments about me and my associates? Why are they making these arguments about Friday Night Tights? Why are they making these arguments about guests of Friday Night Tights? About guests and hosts of Friday Night Tights and the different channels that run that content, as well as Every Frame of Pause? Why are you trying to frame multiple people as supposedly online grifters? It is because you don't actually want to engage in their arguments. You want to dismiss them at a region and say, I've already covered them. But instead of every other content creator who has a no turd twice rule, where you demonstrate that, yeah, they're bad faith, they're not willing to engage, and it is the case that they're doing so for money, you continue to do this shit for money, and you continue to make excuses to do it yourself, and your audience gets the excuse from you, as their leader, to continue following your standard. You claim we're all racists and bigots, and therefore we don't want the smoke. Nigga, I want the smoke! I'm putting my mouth on the exhaust pipe! Give me the smoke! Give me the smoke! Give me the smoke! But you won't do it. You don't actually want to give the attention. And the true answer and reason behind it is because you do not want somebody to build a channel off of you the way you built your channel off the Critical Drinker, off Jeremy Scott's and CinemaSins, and how you built yourself off the drama that is at the insular core of gaming culture and the gaming industry, as both the people who buy games, the people who play the games, the people who make the games, the people who decide what the standards are about covering games and their topics, and how we all interact and interface with each other as a giant food web that feeds off each other. You want to put yourself at the top and the hill as the apex predator who picks and chooses who you're going to harass and antagonize, instead of yet another person in a larger connection and connectivity matrix that has people that can talk about you and your content, can talk about me and your content, can talk about everything in general, and everybody talk about each other, and it's supposed to be our persuasive arguments against persuasive arguments. You don't want that. Your audience doesn't want that. They will actively try to ignore the truth because they've already been told and already decided who they're going to listen to. If that continues to be the case, yes, I'm going to keep telling you to get fucked. I'm going to continue to tell you to kiss my black ass. And then eat a beignet, because I'm actually Cajun in French. And make sure you put a lot of sugar on it and you lick your fingers. It is the case. I'm going to then tell you to take those nasty, sugar-crusted beignet fingers and to then shove them and swivel them up your ass until it comes out as a nice, printed, fine mist dust. And then continue fucking off in the direction over there and a fuck up out of here! Because the door's over on this side. So what I'm basically telling you is to go fuck yourself around the corner and fuck off to nigga get over there in that county. Because we don't do this shit over here. We don't do any of this shit over here, guy. We have never done that. And never in the history of YouTube have you ever seen people justify using content trolling as a tactic to silence their critics. So, on the matter of trying to silence your critics by harassing them with a lawsuit, not a lawsuit, a lawsuit, you are guilty. In the consideration of you trying to put a spotlight on targets you want to attack, and literally commanding your audience as an attack hornet system, where they give attention to the people who you want to antagonize, and they allegedly consider persona non grata people that you don't consider important, or that you've been told aren't important, you're guilty. When it comes to the fact of the matter that you are very much as guilty of the things you say about other people as you accuse about them, you are guilty. It is in fact that you are grifting for the left. The way that you claim everybody else must be grifting for conservatives and the right. It is the fact matter that you don't even understand and know what the politics of the people are that you're attacking. Your audience certainly doesn't, but they're supposed to be learning from you. That's the purpose of your content, right? You're supposed to be teaching them how to expose these things so they can expose the grift. But all you've taught them is the same level of retarded backwards pattern recognition that the anti-woke use. You're just as dumb as they are dumb! Which is to say, you're equivalent to Smash JT and you're equivalent to the mighty Keith, and you're equivalent to 8-Bit Closed Fist, and you're equivalent to Alyssa Mercante, and you're equivalent to Dave Paul Rivera, aka Airbag, aka Kate Bush's husband, and Evan Loves Worf, and other such meteor grifting and coal posting accounts and channels. You are the exact example of what we talk about when you supposedly say you criticize people for what they think, and then you criticize another group for what they believe. No, you do not attack sides equally. No, they do not, off of your leadership, attack sides equally. You just pick targets, and you attack them, and you slander them, and then you move on like a fucking crybaby. And I will fight anybody that says differently. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put them up, put them up, put them up, put them up. Come here, little nigga. Come here, come here. But you won't. They won't, y'all won't. You won't do it for money. You won't do it for the argument. You won't do it for love. You done tried nothing, not even listening, bro. Boom, 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 boom. You's a bitch. Boom, 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 boom. And with that, let us segue now into the Italian stallion, man, myth, and legend. Ow. Smash JT. So, those of you that were with us on the content, I got logged out of Arc Nights due to inactivity, because I was too busy showing my ass live. Oh, excuse me. So, for those of you that were with us on the broadcast on, what was it, Thursday? My brain wants to say Thursday. For those of you that were with us on whatever day I did it, as I check myself, for those of you who were watching on March 5th, so, yeah, Thursday. Those of us that were watching on March 5th, on the live stream, 4 Horsemen on 2XKO, and mocking Smash JT with full context, gaming that at 4 p.m., those of you will remember that on that Thursday evening, we covered the content of Smash JT. Smash JT got exposed, and embarrassed for his poor coverage and content for Marathon. And hilariously enough, people, it happened again. The same thing that happened with Nugenics completely demolishing Relooted. The same thing that happened with Forspoken getting completely ass blasted by Hi-Fi Rush before that company and the game's founding development group was reabsorbed into Squeenix. It happened again with Slay the Spire 2 Dog Walking Marathon. As I covered it live on air that day, and then covered it again the day following, it was not the intention of Megaloot to antagonize the culture of Marathon, as they were just like every other account that was being ran by whatever intern or whatever fan runs it, to try and support the release of the game. But it is in fact the case that Marathon is suffering something dearly. Before we get into the recap of the coverage, for those that weren't there with us, I need to go to the bathroom. One of the consequences of these pills is that they make me piss and shit like a racehorse. A little bit vulgar, but gotta do it. Because my bladder is screaming at me. So I'll be right back. While I'm away, I will inundate those of you that have not been a part of the content with what is the Radio Carl segments we have here. Try to get a short one. I really shouldn't take that long on the toilet, but in case I don't come back, I'm going to give y'all some music to listen to while I'm away.
You are listening to 148.8 The Coon, where we get into the shit that nobody want to talk about. Not like your mama. I don't know what the fuck she did at the last fucking pot swap meet with a chicken salad. They don't want her back no more, bro.
I'm back. Be right back.
You're listening to 148.8 The Coon.
And now, Carl's words of wisdom.
You know, sometimes y'all just don't need to be talking. Just close your mouth. Just close your mouth.
I have returned. Didn't take that long, and yes, I washed my hands. Okay. So, Smash JT. Smash JT desperately and almost irreversibly embarrassed himself with the coverage of the content in reference to Marathon. So, let's give a general overview. The story goes as thus. Smash JT goes onto the timeline and embarrasses himself trying to call other people bad. Calling Marathon bad, calling people who are defending Marathon grifters and slop defenders. And what he ended up rolling into is a giant hammer fist that embarrassed him. Namely, he was playing Marathon on the server slam, and he was playing piss poor. Smash JT then says, these clips are out of context. These clips are out of context. But unfortunately, the full context of the broadcast does not make this better. Because in the content that we covered on Thursday, I revealed how he was not only very bad at the video game, but that his opinions about the content was pretty much stipend off of him being upset about said content and context, while other people were making fun of him. Because I made fun of him, as well as many others. Many of the people who would be called the anti-woke grifters, many of the people who are themselves supposedly woke grifters, and anti-woke grifters, and anti-antis, as well as anybody who just happened to see the clip in general, because that's what people do on the internet. They make fun of somebody who's bad at video games. So, the context behind the clip does not make the clips better. In fact, it makes it more embarrassing for him. Because in the content, as we described and discussed and displayed live on air, it is a lot worse than that. To say that this is unk-slop gaming, dad-slop gaming, would not even approach the real degrees of how bad it is. And by that I mean, the context of his gameplay clips does not make the content better, it makes it worse. Smash JT lost the tutorial game section 2 times, only clearing it on the 3rd time when he basically stumble bumped his way through succeeding in finishing it. He then got into a live service lobby and got killed in that live service lobby because he was too busy staring at the chat room to actually survive an encounter. When he then got into the live service round and he was dying and lost, he kept complaining about, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know where I am, I don't know where I am, this is so bad, it's designed poorly. And then on the 2nd run, which is where the clip was found and exposed, he takes pot shots around the corner at a target over 80 meters away with an SMG, treating it like it was a battle rifle, claiming that, well, I was wandering around waiting to try and find a long-distance weapon and I never found one. And then at the end of this run, he is the only member of his squad who dies because the other 2 people extract to safety while he sits there completely flabbergasted by the fact that he died because he was stuck in a fight where he wasn't paying attention to what was going on because he was too busy looting containers. I am looking it up this way because it is the case that Smash JT is trying to claim channel's content. Which, please, claim my channel's content so I can sue you, please. Please, 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 please. Those that are not aware, Smash JT has a history of basically exposing his content only to his audience. He puts everything behind members only. So if you go to the Smash JT channel, you will find that the majority of that content is behind a paywall. There's only a majority of the content that is ever exposed in a certain way. He is the definition of the anti-woke grifter that you could say that the Birdman accuses. He is only interested in talking about topics that allow him to get attention and clicks. It is rage bait, it is clickbait. Because how does a channel that has these many subscribers actually only pull this many views on his content? And you can't say it's because he's not getting proper views. It's literally the case that he only gets views when his audience comes in afterwards, when they've been told to click on the content material. The content that has anything and everything to do with actual real shit, not relevant. The content that has to do with basically drama about video games, that is the thing that they click on. And yet, the amount of healthy engagement for his channel is very, very low. His channel is basically stagnating because he puts almost all of his content behind a members-only paywall. This is what he does on his first channel. This is what he does on his second channel, Smash JT Live. And it is in the case when it comes to all of this material content, nobody is willing to pay this man money twice to hear his alleged opinions about content. It is literally the slop content that people would accuse individuals like myself of. That content happened, and some new news has come out about Marathon. Namely, Marathon has made a request that people should hold off their game reviews for the content because they are trying to wait until new content drops at the end of the month that is in relevance to the late game sections that are important for the material that is being looked into by the content creators. Oh dear, hi there. Hi. So, the supposed pathetic spin is the fact that the embargoes have asked for people to wait for reviews to come out until later this month. Seen here. Coming out later this month because they would want people to only post their reviews when Cryo Archive, which is a Pinnacle endgame zone, drops in the second half of March alongside the ranked mode. Smash JT, as you saw if you were an eagle-eyed viewer, has already started coping and seething about this on his timeline, on his coverage. Because this is how he makes his money. So going back to the Smash JT channel. You can see here that the majority of his content that he is attempting to cover is specifically focused on Marathon right now. One Marathon video here, another Marathon video here, another Marathon video here, another Marathon video here. All of this, and as well as the credibility destroy, Smash JT is a fake gamer, it is all focused on that drama. And in fact, this video is focusing on the Bungie request for the media figures to not put out Marathon reviews without all that content. While it is a normal part of the process of the industry, the way that a consumer sees this is that if they wanted us to delay reviews for content, then the content should have been feature complete. The content should have been released feature complete on day one when they released it on March 5th. They should not be asking people to hold back the reviews because they're going to do early impressions. They're going to keep up with the content and keep up with the coverage as it continues with the prognostication of the content, and that we're going to review it as it all comes out. Not all at once in a singular video. I don't know why any person would do this if they're not a part of Access Media, because the only people who would do this is Access Media. This is basically a way to try and overstep the fact that they are being currently slammed by the numbers of Slay the Spire 2. And Slay the Spire 2 is a card game that is a highly expected video game made by the same developers of the original game. As you can see here, they congratulated Marathon for launching their game, but people interpreted this as them shading the company. And the reason why they thought that was because Slay the Spire 2 is basically whooping their ass when it comes to their numbers. So to do that, you can go to Steam database, and Steam database is not a finitum answer of the actual numbers, but it does paint a picture. Alright? So, here's the picture that is being displayed. Because you have to take the numbers in context of the server slam. In the viewpoint of the server slam, they started out with double these numbers. Basically, 229 something K. In fact, can I be able to look up this Marathon server slam? Yes, I can. So, these numbers in perpetuation with the rest of the content. Server Slam's numbers, if you go back all the way to its peak, let me go back further, started back at a relevant peak of 143,621 players. And then, as players tried out the content, the numbers dipped and dipped and dipped and dipped, where until the servers then went offline for the server slam, it was floating somewhere between the numbers of the high peak of 84K, so you could say round up the numbers to say 84K to about 55K. Which then leads the numbers into the follow-up being consistent with the numbers here. 81, and then a fluctuation based on who's online at the time. The numbers themselves have effectively fluctuated out to every peak at the course of every day. The numbers are a little bit lower because not as many people are playing it after receiving it on launch. The peak numbers were at 337, somewhere around the peak of just basically 88K, and have been dropping and dropping and dropping. The lowest in the peak in the middle of the day, 36, 39, 31, and then the peaks, 88, 37, 78, 498, 73, 969, so on and so on and so on. Basically, a somewhat systematic sable wave where the sine cosine waves are actually getting smaller and smaller between the hips of the valleys. Meanwhile, on the other side of the issue, if you bring up Slay the Spire 2, as the game already wants to do so, It is a giant cavern. 75K above 500,000 with 293 and 612 currently online right now. Now, of course, live service game, single player game, which is why I said it happened again. It was the case with Reloaded. It was the case with Mugenics. Let's show that. Mugenics. And Reloaded. These are the numbers for Mugenics. If you show them in totality of the max over the month, technically you should go 3 months, but let's do the month. Starting here, going here, going here, going here, and then ruh-roh raggy. It seems that our bad video game is pretty fucking sad. Yes, this is what the kids call mogging. So there are people that are currently riding the wave, trying to basically mock that Marathon will go the way of the Concordian timeline. So Concord game failed to reach critical mass, died in 12 days. High Guard failed to reach critical mass, blamed the consumers for not consuming it, will be dead in 4 days. It will die on the 12th. Things that should have been open and should have been a part of the game during its launch phase for 45 days, like the progression system and the skill trees, was not added to the content. And that was because the money was pulled by Tencent. Tencent pulled their money because they failed to have an actual high concurrent number of players and failed to have player retention. And we were blamed for not falling for the bait because the industry clearly knows that we care intimately about if they are supported by indies. They see the level of energy and the level of support we're willing to give. If not because they're indie, but because they deliver a product that we clearly want. And they tried to trick us with Concord. Marathon is being told as Concord 3. The idea of calling a game a Concord is basically live service or industry-backed gamer slop that fails to hit a target audience, fails to hit a target market and demographic, because they are trying to get us to consume something that we do not actually want or desire. And the same thing is being done with the content of Horizon Hunters, which I have a nice and easy referenced picture to actually demonstrate that. Real quick. Right? Nope, that is the wrong picture. That is the state of the industry. That is not me doing that on purpose. Concordian timeline here. So, Concordian timeline, Concord's dead, High Guard will be dead soon, Marathon might be able to float for 6 months and then it will disappear as well, and then the same thing happened to Horizon Hunters, and the Concordian timeline goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Anything that is basically big industry corpo slop that we didn't ask for, that they're trying to push onto us, it is the interest that we are going to see them come and go, and we'll continue laughing at them and blah 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 blah. As I see this, up to date with all the coping and seething that is relevant, I do not know why the fuck we would hold back reviews about Marathon for it to be able to be looked at. You don't... It's kind of the things that Extra Crush is saying on the side right now. You don't need to wait until later in the month, let's say March 15th, in order for you to finally see what the game really has to offer. The game loop itself is bad. The art design itself is bad. It's also an eyesore to look at and to feel. The palette colors and coverage of like a fucking dark blue on black background is not good. If it was a game that actually was based on the actual game Marathon that you took it from, that would be one thing. But no, you took some visual graphical fidelity aesthetics, slapped it onto the product, call it an extraction shooter, and expected people to eat it up. Because you thought that people would eat up Arc Raiders. Which, putting this in context to Arc Raiders, because we don't talk about Anthem, Arc Raiders is extremely healthy. Because the divide here that was created was that when the game would come out, because here's March 2nd, here's March 4th, here's March 5th. The argument that was made was that Arc Raiders would go stale, it would become bad, it would lose audience, it would lose relevance, and that it would die. Now, remember that post I talked about earlier that was a part of my channel? This is the context of that post. So this post right here, where I said always bet on the spice, because it's a bigger picture than it actually reveals itself to be. Where I said, when the Mighty Keith said, it was him trying to talk shit about content. So to see that and to view that, we need to go back in time and actually look at my timeline for that coverage. So on my timeline in the coverage, that is not the one I'm trying to click on. On my timeline in the coverage, I said a particular thing on this day. I said, and I quote, "Well, stop patting yourself on the back and wait to see what happens in 3 months." Because Marathon was, quote, #3 on top sellers on the Steam store. And the Mighty Keith was like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. For the next 10 years, Concord is going to be a part of the discussions that has zero reason to be a part of, because properly articulating your criticisms for a game is way harder and gets less views than posting memes and knee-jerk reactions about content. I said this in reaction to it, and I said, hey, by the way, this is the reason why you wait before making this kind of prognostication. And this is a clip from Smash JT. My honest opinion about Marathon. After 2 hours in the service slam with overcomplicated interfaces, overwhelming items inventories, confusing purposes, the biggest fault is that the game is not fun. At least not yet. I suppose it went in with zero biases. I found myself wanting to play other games while I was in the midst of the experience, with the game most likely failing. This is the type of prognostication that the Mighty Keith and the Black Hokage and also the Birdman 15 and other such people should actually be concerned with. Because this is the reason behind the context given about that stream. That's why when I made my accusations and I made my posts and I made my comments making fun of Smash JT, as you all can see here, while it might be entirely possible that the game may be DOA on its arrival when it comes out because of multiple people not liking the game, I do believe I have seen the funniest fucking clip I could have seen today of Jeffrey Tarzia. Nigga, did you just try to snipe with an SMG? This is the reason why I said what I said there. It's the reason what I said when I said it here. It is the reason why I do what I do. I did the work. I got the greater context of the clip. And it is in fact that people like Jeffrey Tarzia are trying to talk about the content without actually being able to read what is actually happening in the game. It is the case that he's trying to talk about an entire sphere of influence and the influence that it'll have on the actual buying numbers of the game because he's bad at the video games. It is the case that the entire industry is trying to huddle itself around Marathon to give it enough breathing room to potentially get crazy and big and pull it up. Hello, Dev and Dev's audience. Hello, Fat Man. To bring people in because of this lack of coverage and the fucking failure of him properly doing the work to actually demonstrate the bad things in the game that are actually purportedly a part of why it doesn't deserve its coverage. It is literally the case that this is the thing that they're doing. It is literally the case that it is the thing that they're doing. Hello, sippers. It is literally the case that they are covering content poorly and then getting mad at us, people like myself, for doing the actual work and demonstrating that, nigga, how are you going to talk about Marathon when you can't even play the game well? You want to talk about the game sucking when you can't actually show the parts of the game that sucks? There's more argument to say that a person shouldn't play that video game because it's the case that you're bad at the content. Yes, we're talking about Smash JT again because we're going back over everything for people. I ended up being lazy, Schnitzel. I ended up being lazy and not being able to put it out as a video, so I'm doing it here on the Sunday Yap-In. It was the case that he didn't show off the bad parts of the game. Certainly there were bad parts that are necessary to criticize. Loading menus shouldn't take that long. Discovery windows for getting loot from the curios shouldn't take that long, to the point where you've got clips of Ninja getting slayed on camera because he's not looting fast enough to be able to survive him getting washed by a robot. Where's that clip? 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 Because I know it should be here, but unfortunately I think he only has the response. I don't remember where I put it. I think it's in the bookmarks. Yes, it is. Because there's clips of Shroud. Those are not the clips that I want. I want the clip of him, but I can't find it. I can't find it. I can't find it. Fuck, I can't find it. Anyways, there is a clip of Ninja getting slayed on camera. And when Ninja got slayed on camera, it was the point that it was funny as hell, and Ninja had to actually speak up that, no, I didn't get slayed because I died to an AI. He was 7 hours into the stream, and the shit happened the way that it did. Ah, here it is. Marathon Archive. Marathon Archive. Marathon Archive. Marathon Archive. Our house in the middle of the street. Our house. That's not the one I clicked on. Yes, it is the one I clicked on. There's the channel. Our house in the middle of the street. Our house completing back onto the beat. Our house and up onto the beat. Our house. I gotta scroll for a while to go find it. Carl wasn't prepared. Carl wasn't ready. Carl wasn't ready. There's no way the person deleted it. Should have not been from March 3rd. Here it is. So this clip right here. This clip right here is a case example of how, even though it is not actually Ninja's fault, where he is trying to loot the body to try and get through it, there are things about the game that you can say is a part of its actual delimital issue that is a problem with the game. So right here, the way that the curio screen is slowly revealing each and everything that's in the backpack of the person he just slayed as he's about to get slayed by the NPC that's going to come around the corner. There's no reason in a search and shoot, which is to say that's the genre of battle royale that an extraction shooter is, because they're all battle royale likes. And in the search and shoot, there's no reason why when I'm looting somebody's body, I have to wait like 3 to 5 seconds for the game to give me the permission to see the shit that I'm picking up, so that I can be able to go and fight another person and then recover and reset, so that I can then move on to the next objective, the next target, or the next fight I'd like to push. This is bad game design. This is a problem that is with Marathon. It is something that makes it literally worse than Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders has a similar curio reveal, but it happens much faster. It's much quicker. It's much smoother. Even though you should be learning what your items are so you know what to pick up, it is the fact that this is something that is actually holding the game's ability to be reviewed back. Why should I waste my time? Why should I put my reviews on hold because you can't figure out how to make a better designed game? Why should he be a slave to your content and he have to go through and deal with the fact that he's getting mowed down by the bots because he's taking too long looting because you can't fucking put your shit together so that he can play the game on an equal footing to every other game he's played? He is not the only one that this happened to. This also happened to Shroud. In fact, the people complaining about Shroud were not only not good in the other game, they're also bad in Arc Raiders as well, because they spend most of the time fighting players, not NPCs. But this is the case. This is the argument, right? People are getting butt frustrated about the state of what's going on. and how things are working out, and the bungle of people's coverage of it because of people wanting to play something else not on camera because they're getting mocked about it. Here's a clip of the Burnt Peanut talking about the fact that he has to stream Arc Raiders off camera because of the fact that he's being forced to play Marathon on camera because they're trying to get early adopter bonus playing it amongst the modern audience, which is to say the Twitch audience.
Peanut, 130, and you're also just not telling us that you're getting on? What the...
I just woke up.
Peanut's
You not
world.
hear my voice right now?
It, bro.
I just woke up. I drank some thick, sticky Asian juice, popped a 6 million Delight, and I'm ready to ride.
I love that. I love that you're playing offline. That's so great.
Well, I think you boys see that it's not too good to play this type of game on stream.
Yeah, people are definitely happy about it, that's for sure.
Me and Tim been going to war all day.
I bet they're just radiating positivity, are they not?
Bro, people cannot conceive.
So nice.
They cannot conceive the idea that a new game has come out and we just want to play it. Brother, I mean, try to explain that to someone. It's like I'm writing an ancient hieroglyphs and I'm like, with a projector on the screen, just trying to prove that it's a possible thing to do. It's unbelievable.
Ooh. Do you guys hear this sellout right now?
Sponsor.
Hashtag ad. I'm just kidding. I know. It's incomprehensible that we can just like a game that they may not like, but you know, whatever.
It is in fact the case that people were in fact playing Marathon on ad sponsorships for Headhunter deals. Which, if you weren't aware of that, let's put that on camera, lay it out, so you know it's real. If I can find them. I already showed this image on screen before. I need to remember how I did it before. Is it Marathon Streamer ads? Ah, here we go. So, it is literally the case that with the content, most of these broadcasters were in fact streaming Marathon as ads. And they were doing so using the new feature that they allow on Twitch, where you can do co-streams with other players. And when you are streaming with another person who's co-streaming, the numbers of both of your chat rooms' view watches get put together, and it pulls you further and further up the ladder with the view numbers, so that you can be able to pull more people. Because as we all know, the actual discovery of Twitch is dog shit, and that's the reason why TikTok technically gets used by Twitch broadcasters as a way to bring people to your broadcast and to your streams and to your content. If, you know, you don't have a fat man laying in the corner who slings his audience towards you to go support your content when you're doing your stuff. If you don't have friends, associates, and bigger creators that basically put a spotlight on your channel, it is basically a fact that they are basically coping about the fact that many of them did in fact take the ad sponsorship deal to play the game as a Headhunter contract. Because those Headhunter contracts are like getting a form of minimum wage engagement for playing the video game for a certain amount of time. And as you can see there, third one down, Tim the Tatman and Hutch. Yes, they indeed did play the game based on an ad sponsorship. They might have done so because they were interested in playing the game, just off their own interest, but they did in fact take the money. They did in fact take the money. And now they're playing both sides of the argument. Well, you guys are angry, we just want to play a good game, the game is good, but they're also playing other games off camera. They're playing other games off broadcast. Because it would be damaging to their brand if they were to do so otherwise. Bad tactics, bad words, bad optics, bad everything. Cringe as cringe can be, but this is how people are. It is how it is. It is how it is. It is how it is. So all these things together, it is itself a perplexing situation to find yourself in. When it comes to the perplexities, the shit that you deal with. So, that is pretty much the news of Marathon. That is pretty much the news of the drama and the word from the street. And Unfortunately, Dev, you missed the part where I had it out with my haters. So you missed some of the best Kano content this week. At this point, I'm going to say, for those of you, if you are enjoying the content, if you're enjoying what I'm doing, and more importantly, you would like to see more of this big, fat, ugly mug, as it can be seen here on the camera, if the content that I'm doing here entertains you, please consider becoming a member of the Negrohood. Click on the inner links that are being posted by the bots in the chat that lead you to the Discord. Join the Negrohood. Become a member of the Negrohood HOA. Deserve and earn your timeshare. And become a member of the United Negro Carl Founders. Because here at the UNCF Foundation, a Carl is a terrible thing to waste. If you cannot give with your money, please consider giving with your time and learn of our cultures and our ways as we herald the one true Carl. But as it is, that is the word on the street. That is the news on the street, as I've seen it. Outside of that, with what I went over and covered with Slay the Spire itself as a video game, I mean, Slay the Spire 2 would definitely be washing Marathon, because this is the kind of game that you play when you're on stream or off stream, when you're having fun. No thanks, my family's trying to just freely get rid of the timeshare my great-grandfather stuck us with. Unfortunately, you already have ownership of this timeshare. It came along with your right to laugh at my jokes. But yeah, Slay the Spire 2 is definitely wiping their asses when it comes to the coverage of Marathon, because the fact of the matter is that Marathon is basically a rage bait game, dude. Welcome back, Tusky, for 11 months. You've given birth to my child, and it's already 2 months old.
The fuck are you doing?
We have shredded lettuce. What about non-buff stuff? I don't know what you mean by non-buff stuff. Explain. But it is a case that with Slay the Spire 2, it is a game that you definitely would be playing on and off camera, just simply because it is one of the kind of games that you can play forever, because it is a forever game. There's so much content to experience right now, especially being in early access, compared to the fucking nothing that exists inside of Marathon, that when they're saying, hold back your reviews, wait till the rest of the content drops, they're not going to do that. They're going to go play a different video game. Live service games were not meant to be played forever, but when you're between updates on content, it is in fact on purpose and in your interest to actually go play other things and then come back when the content is, quote, completed. Shredded lettuce implies that it went to the gym. What if my customers don't want gym lettuce? Then they go to yoga. They go to lettuce yoga, and they get their fit booty right. They get the big, thick Latina booty so that they can attract all the niggas on the block. Because that's apparently what black men like. Big, thick Latina booties and white women. So now I've been rage bait. It's just search and shoot, hold the shoot. True. Because who wants to go through containers and caches just collecting loot with nobody else to fight against other than the NPCs? At that point, you might as well actually unironically play another video game. Like Helldivers. Which, unfortunately, I must bring you news about Helldivers. And it's not good news. What a segue, Carl. Good job, Carl. So, I'm depressed. I'm actually depressed looking on this because it's such an upsetting story. So, just for relevance and just for records, you know, so that the children that are focused only on numbers decide to play the game, or look at the issue and decide if it's actually important. Young children, hear my voice, hear me now. Helldivers is in fact a healthy video game. Helldivers is in fact a healthy video game. It's alive. It's not dead. It's not dead. It never died. Looking at this contestably over the few years, here's where you guys jumped on and said it's the greatest thing since, well, actually go further back. Here's where you guys jumped on saying it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Here's where all you motherfuckers jumped off at the account link sharing shenanigans. It's even properly listed on the Steam charts for reference. Here's where some of you came back because, oh my god, the game is over, it's bad, it's bad. And then here's Buff Divers, and then here's Omens of Tyranny, as well as the pop-up that was, what did they call it? There was one that came before this, but I forget what that patch state was called. Fuck, it's leaving me. No, something escalation. Something escalation. And then into Omens of Tyranny. And then into, oh my god, Super Earth! So back here is where we made the Meridia sinkhole. So here's where we blew up Meridia, made it a black hole. Here's where the Illuminate came. Here's where the Illuminate came to fight us on Super Earth. And then here's where you motherfuckers came at Story Arc 5 before Into the Unjust. And then we're so back, we're so over, we're so back. The cycle as it goes. Same as it ever was. Okay, so. There was drama. Really bad drama. That came from the timeline. The timeline follows it as such, because it's been concluded at this point. Helldivers 2 has ruined the life of a charity worker. The fan subreddit for Helldivers 2 on Reddit decided to dox and fire a guy from a horse sanctuary that was a volunteer horse sanctuary attendant and an electrician, who had offered a 1,000k bounty for charity if the developers played the game and beat it on the highest tier difficulty at difficulty 10 on Osha Une using what the player base has considered grunt fantasy low tier gear, with Redditors claiming that his charity bet was harassment. For the context, we're going to Green Reddit. Bare your knuckles, children. Bare your knuckles. So, what's the tea? What happened? What's the context? So, a player chooses to cover content. They choose to harass a person, the developer, or the user in question. Key Complex 150 issues a challenge where he will donate $1,000 of his own money to a charity of Airhead's choosing if they upload a video of 4 developers playing an entire operation on Ushune on difficulty 10 and completing all objectives on all 3 missions in the current mission order with no modifications, no developer dev panel shenanigans, no funny business. Playing it in the current state of the game patch, showing it how it's supposed to be done and how well the game's balance actually exists and is, providing full real information, proof of payment, and signing a legally binding contract to prove the case that he is willing to do it. Because the game mode is known for being difficult, poorly designed in places, and very, very glitchy, as many of us who play Helldivers 2 already know. This infuriated the fanbase, who then chose to dox him, including the horse sanctuary that he volunteers at, claiming that he is at fault for guilting the developers to playing their own game by promising a charity donation with his own money. Let me hear from this post. The challenge is over. I've received dozens upon dozens of messages like this since I first issued this challenge, with somebody telling him, "Get better at the game, you stupid fucking retard, lol, deuces pieces." For my own well-being, I'm stepping off of Reddit and the community as a whole. Stop trying to contact me. The challenge is officially over on my part. Thanks for everybody that supported with fine words, but I can't take the barrage of hate. See you guys later. I've just learned somehow that they got a hold of the horse sanctuary I volunteer at, and they're sending messages there too. Yeah, this is it. This allegedly led to him being fired from both his position, which then was issued as a copy-paste that he was posting in response to everything. Hey, this is a copy-paste message that I'll be sending to everyone who messaged me in good faith, because I think it's rude not to reply, but understand that I do have to reply to this with these messages because of the sheer amount of them, and do not take it personally, because I cannot give a specific response to each one. I have been banned from the horse sanctuary I've been volunteering at for 2011 for security reasons, which is understandable. They're trying to get by and cannot deal with this, and then fired him from my job at the electrical company that I work at after 7 years of work. My life basically ruined overnight for something that I thought should be fun and productive towards the games that I loved and supported passionately. I'm not an internet person, and my online presence is mostly for friends and family. I'll be stepping away from the community, Reddit, and this video game as a whole. I'm completely and undoubtedly done. Thanks for the support and the kind words. See you guys later. This inspired more people to issue challenges for the developers to use content that had been unbalanced since the release, with moderators on the most popular board banning people and deleting the threads for talking about the drama, making a post after the fact saying that they're deleting threads discussing it because the doxers and harassers are posting in them, even though it is the users posting the challenges or discussing the situation that are primarily being banned, which is then sourced here, but this is an archive post, and it's not properly sourced, so it's broken. This is something that's been happening to archive.today a lot, but it is what it is. I don't know what the reason is. In the refer post of all these things happening, they then added an addendum to try and address, saying that it's fine to post challenges, but only with Reddit model approval, giving the appearance that they're filtering out challenges that test the original challenge's point, which was to investigate if the developers could even play their own content. Seen here. And it's very, very poorly fucking glossed, but the context is there.
And put some fucking earbuds on! You're in public!
25 from Boster. This is why I almost never engage in anything in social media. It's a fucking landmine out there. One false step and your life is gone in an instant. True. They also added an addendum, blah, 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 blah. I think the addendum is also unreadable. Yes, it is, because these people have bad fucking savings on the goddamn clicks and links that they're using. Yeah, it's fucking worse here. They added an addendum, save face. And some of the people affected by the last deletion by the post confronted the moderators, pointing out that his post, which explains the situation, was swept away in the mass purge. While the drama, for some reason, Helldivers 2 in particular has a rabid fan base that attacks anybody who criticizes the game's flaws. While this seems an oversimplification, this is genuinely the case. There are even offshoot discords and Reddit communities, particularly unhinged fans, who realistically burn pictures of content creators who criticize the game. So as for Arrowhead, the developers of the game, they only responded with generic, "We do not condone harassment in our opponent situation" corporate talk, which you can then see here. Message to our players. Arrowhead's game studios and Sony Interactive are tracking the situation currently unfolding surrounding the Dev 10 challenge, which started on Reddit. Due to the increased hostility of the community, we have to address it with all of you. We do not tolerate blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. This kind of toxic behavior is unacceptable and not something we will ever condone. Blah 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 blah. Humans are not the enemy, Helldivers. Your fight is elsewhere. So here's where the problem takes fuel to the fire on the road. Multiple times so far in content provided, it is in fact a matter that they had the ability to actually address this, and it was in fact not properly addressed as a part of the context. So, for example, this picture that is being burned in effigy, this is the content creator known as Odo. Odo is actually one of the many people who is a part of the Chud Slop and the Hell Whiners that make up the majority of these factions. There are Hell Whiners and there are Glaze Divers. The Glaze Divers are the people who completely glaze the game despite the fact that it has things to complain with. The Hell Whiners are developers and players, excuse me, not developers, or players, content creators, and average users that will say, the game is bad because of grunt fantasy, there should never be any kind of buff that, or nerf that takes away my advantages, and there should be nothing but buffs so that I can be able to play out my power fantasy. If you ever have balance that stops me from being able to play a video game the way that I want, you are actually holding back my fun, and you should be bullied into doing what we want until you develop the game and balance it the way that we want it to be done. So, something that has come to light, as I go find the context to put on screen for you, is that Baskinator, which is to say Karen Baskin, who is one of the actual community moderators for the company, knew about this content and drama happening and did not actually address the problem. They knew that this drama was happening, and they didn't do anything about it. They chose to not address it, and are now victim blaming people for talking about the fact, here we go, for talking about the fact that this happened. Hello, Mr. Real. Here, Basquiator has mod role, actively choosing to do nothing. Y'all have to fire her. She could have made a 5-minute post and curb this shit at the start. Post reads, please be kind to another. I've been out sick all week, and I'm genuinely horrified to see this happening in our subreddit. You need to purge the entire mod team for the subreddit. The subreddit is community-owned and operated, always has been. They invited me to have the mod role so that I could bypass spam filters and use post tools only. It is the case matter that even the transgenders, even the trannies, see how bad this is, right? All sides in the internet are collectively holding together to show exactly how bad the situation is. The anti-woke, the woke, the anti-anti-woke, the troon slop, the troon shine players. They're all coming together to bring aid to Super Earth. Because a person basically had his life destroyed because other people couldn't take the fact that he wanted to use his own money to offer the opportunity for them to look at the balance of the game and figure out if they could do something to make it better. For these reasons, it is the gayest shit I have ever seen in terms of gaming culture. The same shit I would say about people like Smash JT, I'm saying about these people here and saying about the company. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. It is bullshit. This should have never happened. No, we're not talking about Tectone. This should have never happened. This man should have never lost his job. He should have never been fired from a horse sanctuary. And you should have never allowed this community-owned subreddit to get to the point where you allowed these individuals to basically bully him, not only out of his game, but to destroy his livelihood over something that shouldn't matter. This is why, when I chose to say what I said earlier about my haters hate watching me, I said what I said. This is why I said what I said about Marathon. It is why I say what I say about gaming topics in general. There is a cultural issue that is deep and root at the heart of multiple things. Because hell, this is just a continuation of the same level of antagonism that they would have put onto Kingsman if that situation had gone different for him in Marvel Rivals. It is the same reason that we have the antagonization that we have with the industry as a whole, as consumers, against the industry as a whole. We're talking about Helldivers 2. All of this is the reason why we don't trust corporate entities. Arrowhead technically are being blindsided here, but they're also responsible for this getting out of hand because basically they knew that it was happening and they said nothing and did nothing. The fact that they have moderators that are jumping in to say, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to mod it? Huh? It's very victim blaming. It's very victim blaming. And see, I'm just victim asking questions. How retarded are you guys? Are you so fucking stupid that you don't know how to deal with this issue ahead of time? Is it really that bad? Can you undox this man? Can you undestroy his life? Can you take back his content? No, they can't. And, yes, here he is. Here is the case in which they are, in fact, crashing out on the timeline. Here's the post removed before the OP got banned. He's not being banned for this post. He didn't break rules. We're trying to make amends and right the wrongs. Y'all want to make it right, you should step down. You literally gave the doxers what they wanted with a knee-jerk reaction. You have no idea what happened behind the scenes. Do you know who the doxers are? Do you know where it happened? You don't. You want to step up and moderate yourself? Which is what led to this hilarious, funny meme that has been created using the current update about the current state of the game. Helldivers 2, Moderators of Oppression. And they all are wearing pink-shaped armor with Chud Jack faces. It's a very funny meme. Very funny. Very, very funny. All of this happened literally within the span of days. Not even hours. Not even a week. Days. Fucking days, dude. Does it mean that I'm going to stop playing Helldivers? No. But it does mean that I'm definitely never going to take the official Helldiver Discord seriously. I've already reduced and cut back my posting inside of it because it's not worth talking in there. The same people that are going to do this to you on Reddit are the same people that are in that Discord because they allow them to be able to do this. The same ex-diver post that is a part of the terms of service and the community posts of the rules. It's a rule tool violation. Can't harass people for the things that they're willing to do in the video game just because they're playing the game differently than you. Because of this, it makes people like me say, this is not worth my time. Not the game, but the community that it's attached to. There have been Splinter's Helldiver 2 groups that are full of players that actually want to play with each other. I'm a part of one of them. The one that I'm a part of is called the Hug Divers. People who are relevant and know each other. Some of you that are Helldiver players in my community actually know one of the people from there, Guest, or as his name is, SP Zila. I forget the numbers behind his name. He is actually like a young kid who I have taken under my wing and turned into an instrument of mass destruction. There are thousands and thousands of players. And I do mean thousands, literally thousands and thousands of players that play the game completely normally. And for many people, they interface with this the same way they interface with everything. They're tourists in that regard. They heard about this drama, they tuned in to hear what it was about, tuned the fuck out, and it's like, bro, I don't take it serious, I just play the game for fun. But it is the case that you have a bunch of fucking woke sculpt Karens inside of the community Discord and inside of the subreddit that will destroy your life should you step out of line with the way that they agree that the game should be made. There's a reason why I chose to make a Helldivers 2 guide, which I will be updating within the next few weeks, if not the next few days, as I'm doing other coverage of content. This situation happening is purely disgusting to me. Just like when I used to play Smite, and we got rid of DM Brandon. Just like when I used to play other games and got rid of other negative figures in those player bases and communities. And this is a repugnant thing to watch happen. Because whether you like it, win, lose, or draw, the fact that they chose to do this over video games means that they're willing to do it over anything. So, the same way that people like the Birdman will harass people like myself and Jay Longbone and everybody else because they don't like that we have opinions about content, it is the case matter that they will do that in perpetuity because they don't like us and don't like what we have to say. Same thing with Smash JT. Same thing with the anti-woke grifters and their audiences. Almost choked on my gum. And their audiences and how they cover content, especially if all they care about is being non-binary, but they can't tell you the reasons to support the games that they support. They're just supporting them knee-jerk because they want to be a part of the joke. And for that, I have a perfect case example of that. When it comes to content creators and posters, such as right here, people like Jay Viper, when they are supporting your game, not because they actually want to play your game because they find it fun, but because you're at the center of drama. The accusations that I used to get back when I was trying to cover content with Soul Ash creator and Soul Ash 2 creator Arthur Samowski. People trying to put you dead front and center because they want to jump onto the topic because it's trending, not because they actually support what you have to think and what you have to say. These people do not want to actually be a part of content creation. They don't want to be a part of content creation. They don't want to be a part of communities. They don't want to be a part of interest. They don't want to be a part of content whatsoever. It is just pushing and antagonizing with whatever is on their agenda. It's repugnant to me. It's repugnant to me. I hate it. I disapprove of it. Shame on every single one of them that did that to that man. And I hope that he is able to recover in the future. He is in my prayers. If you are not a praying person because you're agnostic, let him be in your thoughts. It is a sad situation to witness. Because this is the kind of shit that makes you angry to be a gamer. Because games should be about fun. And instead, people made it into a war. They made it into political ground. I don't see the political ground that you're gaining by destroying a man's life over a fucking video game. I don't see it. Just like I don't see where we're winning where we're not winning allies when we try to destroy Kingsman, and you end up making a new name for CC and Zaza as EOMM agents in every fandom. I don't see where you're convincing people by saying that there's nothing wrong with women and feminism in gaming in terms of the political woke scolds when it comes to content such as this. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced how you, in fact, are leaving the games alone and that the woke is being put away. I think it's in hiding, and that whenever it can claim a victim, it claims a victim like they just did here. I'm not seeing it, I'm unconvinced. If there's a person that is willing to make that argument, no money bounty on this one. This is just to see if you actually want to call into the show. Type the post in the chat, because I've just realized I never pinned this thing that I was supposed to pin as part of this content. Wow. Wow, Carl's about his job. Wow. But if you have opinions that you'd wish to speak about on camera, about this particular topic, please feel free to call in to the lobby, and we can discuss about it on camera. Pinned comment right here in the chat. And if you type in !Yapin, it will also bring up the same function with the same link. One button press brings you directly into the lobby, and then I can pull you up and we can discuss things. I need to go to the back room quick because my medicine, again, makes me piss and shit like a goddamn racehorse. So, let me send myself to the glue factory, and I will come back in just a moment. I inundate you now with more Radio Carl.
You're listening to 148.8 The Cool, playing the spiciest jazz and the nappiest licks. Fuck you, YouTube! If you're cool enough to watch a new streamer this week, you're a big enough Chad to watch Single Player Carl. Bad words, Carl's a breakdown. Memes! If you think you'll find a bread tuber at Single Player Carl's, you can kiss my aunt. It's our belief that if you're such a base mother lover, you'll watch this guy stream. Guaranteed! If you don't find niggatry cool, you can shove it up your subscribe list. You heard us right. Shove it up your subscribe list. Bring your friends, bring your pets, bring your mom. We'll love your mom. That's right. We'll love your mom. At Single Player Carl's, you'll catch 6 ways to Sunday. Take a hike to Single Player Carl's, home of challenge laughing. That's right, challenge laughing. How does it work? If you can catch Carl being ignorant as fuck and not laugh once, you'll get nothing but shame. Don't wait. Don't delay. Don't fuck with us or you'll whip your weave off. Only at Single Player Carl's, the only stream that tells you to fuck off. What are you waiting for? Go to Single Player Carl's, New Orleans Nappiest, an exclusive home to the meanest sons of Cajuns in the state of Georgia. Guaranteed!
I can feel the fire in my butthole. I can feel the fire in my butthole. And my camera's glitching out. Ugh, fuck Christ, my body. Why is the camera fighting for its life? I could not tell you. Sometimes the camera does this, and apparently it's now gotten to the point where it wants to kill itself. And that's why we have the PNG YouTuber now. I don't know why the camera does that at times. Sometimes it decides it doesn't want to work with me. If we want to blame somebody, we could probably blame the fact that, when I moved the camera earlier to move it around my room, I probably jostled something, and I made my camera angry at me. All I have to say is why. Why did you even give them a time of day when you know that they'll keep complaining even when you give them time of day? I assume you mean that in the terms of hell divers towards the hell whiners and the glaze divers. I honestly don't know why they would. Carl, no, you have so much to live for. Oh, God. Let me double check and see if there's any people waiting on the side. I do see some people. Hello, Saf. Hello, staff. You're on with Carl. How can I help you?
Hello, Carl. It's been a while.
Yes, it has. How can I help you?
I've had like a couple interactions on Twitter, just maybe raise my eyebrows a little bit, maybe go, huh? And it's like, I know it's like a generational thing, but I had some dude coming in saying like, oh, like those old anime fans back in the 80s, those guys were creeps because they liked anime that had female characters in it. And I'm assuming the stuff he's talking about is like either Project Eiko and Urusei Yatsura. And I'm just raising my eyebrow because stuff he was saying was crazy. Like, you know, those are the guys that, you know, were creeping around girls at schools, and I'm like, I highly doubt that that was a thing that guys were doing in the 80s just because they liked anime that you didn't like.
Seems a high barometer to accuse somebody of basically lecturing on young girls because they liked anime. That's weird.
I can see if I can find the tweet itself because it was like also just freaking wild.
Okay. I'm certain that that is entertaining, but do you have anything necessarily relevant to say about the topics that we covered today?
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, that whole thing with firing the guy from his job was well, getting the guy fired and harassing him over that challenge was also just very disheartening to see. I don't really play the games you mentioned, Carl, though.
That's fine. Just tell me about your opinion about how you feel about it.
Like I said, it's just really, really disheartening, and it makes me just not really. Maybe just makes me want to stick to the stuff that I like playing. But even like among that, I try to like maintain an attitude of like really being positive about this kind of thing and not encouraging like harassment of any sort. And it also makes me glad that I don't actively use Reddit. I don't it's like anything I hear about it like now, it's just like it seems like it's getting worse and worse.
Certainly is the case because they don't ever really stop being negative. Most of their existence is based on just absorbing negativity for negativity's sake and then hyping each other up. As you saw with the haters, they hype themselves up about things that I never even said. And in the case of the subreddit for pretty much most of your favorite games, because it is a leftist-controlled platform, there's no denying it. The culture is very much left-leaning. It is very much the same hugbox culture that comes from, that came from Tumblr, if not literally the same users now, as they have integrated themselves into the culture of the site. There is no world where they're willing to come to the table and discuss things because they believe that you are basically the devil. So they seek the destruction of you and your material, and then they cheer about it because then they move on to the next target that's deserving of destruction. I don't see how you're able to actually like discuss things with a person like that. Certainly, I can be able to make satirization content because they can't cancel me. They can't destroy me. They do not have the material in which to do so. If they were to try to, my company would completely ignore it because there's nothing that they have to say or that they could do that would get them to do anything to me. I have job security as far as that's concerned. But even if I didn't, why does a website implore such people to such heights of degradation? And why do they feel comfortable doing this? As I many times have said, where they allow themselves to forget the human behind the screen, and they start behaving the way that they do in video games, the way they do in life. These are basically a bunch of woke school bullies. And as woke school bullies, they decide to pick on people that can't fight back. And that's what they did to that guy. I've seen them do it to other people. I see them do it to other content creators. Literally, I talked about how in the last season, leading up to the release of 0.4 for Path of Exile 2, that they were talking this way about Talkative Try. And with the inclusion of the second Wind League, which is now going all the way strong through March 30th, because we re-upped it again, they're not talking about him like that anymore. Or at least not at this time, because they don't have the ability to antagonize him. You could say that about any content creator, really. But it is very much the case that they choose a target, and they like to focus on the particular argument that they want to make, and nothing else gets through their cabeza. They are very much, I ignore what you have to say, I don't care what you have to say, I've made a point in an argument that you aren't addressing, Mr. Man, and I want to see you address that point, Mr. Man. How dare you try to ignore what I have to say? You're not addressing my opinions. And it's like, can you address the argument that I made in the first place? And the fact that they're being allowed to do it by the community managers, they knew that it was happening. They saw it happen live in front of their eyes. They never said a single thing. They said, well, we can't really do anything. It's a community-operated post. They never said of their own volition, hey, we know that this guy made a post. We know that he made a challenge. Stop harassing him. Stop attacking him. Stop doxing him. Stop calling the horse sanctuary. Hey, we're the people who make the game that this guy was being harassed and stalked from. Please disregard the security threats that people have been making on your business. They're doing it on this. They didn't do any of that. They didn't lift a single fucking finger. And that kind of gives you an implication on either one, the fear that the developers must have, two, the incompetency that the developers must have, or three, the lockstep agreement of opinion the developers must have with what was done here. Because it's very much a left-wing audience that chose to project this content and project this antagonism. And if they are in the third position where they agree with it, it makes you look at the developers differently in an entirely different light. Kind of with again, what is being said here by Execution in the chat. It is infuriating from all sides of the content. Doesn't matter if you're a content creator, doesn't matter if you're just a tourist that's a fan of the content. It's the kind of thing that tells you, I shouldn't play that video game. So it's like putting us right back where we started, with trying to bring the culture of the game back up, and here these niggas are, washing it away again. You agree or disagree with that? Yes, no, maybe so. Eeny, meeny, miny, no. Catching Negro by the toe. Oh, she left the thing. It was by accident. Many such cases.
I got disconnected while trying to look for that link. Sorry about that.
No problem. But do you have an opinion about what I just said?
I mean, a lot of what you said is like, I've been seeing many repeat cases like this over the years, like even before things like Reddit. It's just like getting someone harassed or trying to ruin their life over opinions like that. It's like it just makes me sad that it's gotten to this point.
I would say we've been at this point for a while. It's just that we are now seeing it happen again. So it's much like how Charlie Kirk was assassinated. In the political rhetoric, it's sad that we got there. That a man can be murdered, and either one or both sides do not stand down their rhetoric and continue pushing harder with the rhetoric. Here, in gaming, we've always been at the point where people that are crazy are going to escalate and escalate and escalate until somebody's life gets destroyed by it. And then they continue doing more shit of this nature. That it hurts people. This is definitely a situational case that is a problem. I don't like that the developers had nothing to say about this until it got to the worst situation it could have been. It is very annoying that that is what happened. If I weren't already, because this is basically my fault, this is my sunken cost fallacy kicking in. If I did not already invest what I invested into Helldivers, it would be so easy to drop away from it. But at the same time, that would demonstrate how little affinity the game really has now when it comes to camaraderie and actual culture and community.
It's not healthy to like do any of that.
Like, if you abandon it in this situation, you are dooming it to having these people control it. It's very similar to the opinion and the discussion that I was having during gaming night with Reflex site about the kinds of people who create nice, safe, big, empty spaces that are full of people with lockstep, homogenous opinions that care more about policing you for bad ideas and bad opinions than actually talking about the culture and sharing in the culture of the game. They don't like having nerdlinger fights. They like harassing people because it makes them feel strong. It's so fucking stupid that they've let this happen. Like, especially in the context in which Extra Crush is talking about, Sony needs fucking wins. On top of this, you've got the entire platform pulling back, saying we're no longer going to put single-player video games as a multi-platform opportunity on other platforms. We're going to retreat inwards with the console war and put the console war back on. But you don't actually have anything that brings me to sell software content on the platform. Sony, PlayStation, as a group, need the support, the effort, the business, the work, and the microtransaction sales that come from games like Helldivers 2. Not just as a multiplayer game, not just as a game as a service, not just as a live service tabletop experience that is cosplaying as an extraction shooter, because it's actually a tabletop experience that is masquerading as an action movie. You need their business because the culture of what will bring people to continually buy on your product is brand loyalty. Certainly, you can say many of these people are, in fact, the movie game slop enjoyers. But you need people to actually have word of mouth that brings them, and the brand loyalty that consigns them to actually pay to play the games. The way they currently have it going right now, they are setting themselves up for a failure that could lead to the shuttering of several different studios and businesses because of Sony's inability to respond on this, PlayStation's inability, PlayStation of America, to respond on this, Sony of America's inability to respond on this, Sony of Japan's inability to respond on this, and the cultural rot of the developers that are basically being abandoned by the publisher to handle a cultural issue that they can't handle because they lack the context of culture to understand how people think. I don't think corporate slop does enough justice. This is just a failure in the marketplace. This is a failure to understand the people, and it's a failure to do business. It's really abhorrent. It's really disgusting. It's really annoying.
Mm.
But, do you have anything else that you would like to mention on the topic?
Do I have to talk about the topic itself?
Yes.
I don't know. It's just very different to me because I don't really play a lot of community games like that. The games I do play, at least the one that's more community driven, is a mobile game called Cookie Run, and that has its own brand of crazy fans, but it's not on the level of this stuff, really.
Okay. In that case, I will let you go because we have been live for about 3 hours. Yeah, almost about 3 hours. So unless somebody else has something that they'd like to call into the show, clicking in the pinned comment in the chat, I will shut things down here. I'll try to do the final thoughts. Because, oh my god, my body is ransacking me something fierce. Boy, do I hate my medication. Boy, do I hate my medication. I hate my medication. I hate my medication. I'm like a sewer pipe, bros. Oh, not great. But, my final thoughts. On the issue of Marathon. Goodbye, Seth. On the issue of Marathon. Whether the game lasts or fails, it clearly is losing support. Because people know what it is. They know what it is. They know who they are. And they are not willing to pay money for it. And I don't think, especially with the ask, because it's not a denial of embargo, but it is the implication of the begging of an embargo. I don't think you can ask us to put off the review for the game when you could have released a feature-complete title to the marketplace. on the issue of Smash GT. He continues to be an idiot. He continues to be embarrassing. And his embarrassment is going to probably lead to people buying the game just to prove that they can be better than him. Like I said, if I have to buy a copy of Marathon just to play it on camera, maybe even with members of Saturday Night Hypnosis, to demonstrate that, yeah, bro, the game might be horrible, it might die in the future, but you're just really bad at showcasing shit, then it is the case that it is the case. To my haters, is my camera fixed? Webcam. Ah, yes. To my haters. Lick my nuts, 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 lick my nuts. Lick 'em, 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 lick 'em. Watch the curves, watch the curve. I don't care. You have nothing of value to say to me. Make an argument. Take my money, or shut the fuck up, and stop watching. And on the issue of the Hellglazers, of the Hellwhiners and the Glazed Divers, every single person who was involved in this harassment campaign needs to be permanently banned. Every person in the background who supported it, banned. Every person who helped with it, banned. Every person harassing content creators, banned. Every person attacking content creators in effigy, banned. Not just permanently banned from the game, permanently banned off the subreddit, permanently banned from the game, VAC banned from Steam from playing the game, maybe even take the Steam accounts away. Every attack vector that was used to attack these people, someone needs to pay restitution. Someone needs to pay restitution. Someone has to pay for this. Because justice must be done. Help that man get his career back. Help that man get his money back. Help him get back on his feet. I will be giving news updates about this over the following week. He'll be in my thoughts and prayers. I will try to do what I can, just like I did with GatoFlex. I'll see what I can do for this guy. I'll see if I can get in contact with him. But more than likely, I will not be successful, as he has DFE'd. And I send you all off today in your moment of Zen, with peace, fatness, and love. Hug your children. Tell your friends that you love them. Tell your family that you love them. Consider the fact that it is not horrible. As I have seen in the promised Gamerland, compete with dad tits and bad bodies and fatness. I have seen the slop. The gamer slop shall not be admonished. It will be cringe, and we will survive. You and your children will be able to enjoy Onk Slop Gaming. You will be able to enjoy new content. And I may not be able to meet you there in the promised land, as I might be distracted with other video games, where before I was poor. But I believe in a future that gamers and gamettes can be able to play video games and have fun without making it about their egos. I have seen the promised land where content creators with little black boys and little black girls and little white girls that like little black boys and little white boys that really love the little white girls are able to play the games together, and where David Jaffrey cannot say that Vera Dark is just a woman and that's the only reason she's successful, but that those that call themselves anti-slop and pro-slop, that call themselves anti-woke and anti-anti-woke, can be able to meet together on an issue and say, that nigga is gay! I believe it can be done. I know that you can make it. And I may not be able to make it there, as the sun might be bouncing on my stomach, or something else bouncing on me. But I believe you can do it, because you are the future. Your content is good, and things can be great. They can be good. We might even be able to say we can make them better again. And if you don't believe it, it is because you cannot see it. Because if you can see what the Carl can smell, you notice that I smell freedom. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, the bitch niggas aren't in my ear. I can enjoy my video games at last. And with that, I send you all off into the world. Good evening, good afternoon, good night, and bon nuit. Bon nuit to you all. We'll be serving chicken thighs inside the restaurant, inside of the Discord. Again, if you are a supporter of the content and you wish to see more of my raggedy black fat ass, please consider supporting the show and supporting the content. Consider giving of your volition to your material and going to twitch.tv, ko-fi.com, subscribestar.com, paypal.com/singleplayercarl, or giving support through super chats and memberships. Because Carl is a terrible thing to waste. And I will be back next time and all the times until there is no time. Same Carl time, same Carl channel. I'm the single player Carl. This has been my chat, and this has been Yap-In with Carl number 41. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.